Go ahead and click that like button as soon as you come in. All right, there we go. Hey, how's it going? How's it going? All right, welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. Let me go ahead and introduce the panel. To my right, obviously, we got Quan.
What's up, everybody?
All right, and then we have Dr. Gwendolyn Alfred. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are y'all?
We're doing good.
Thank y'all so much for inviting me. I feel honored to be on the show. I've been following you guys for a minute, and I have been clicking the like button.
Well, I appreciate you for simply following the rules. I truly, truly do. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. First off, you already know how we start off. Anything that has happened this past week, anything that you guys have been privy to or you guys have watched that you all have found very interesting. Quan, I'll start with you, brother.
Nah. I had a shout out to Justin and Smash Time. I had to enjoy, watching Mardi Gras, from the safety of my home. It was good to see, them kids getting back out there, enjoying themselves and whatnot. Just shout out to him, and I just I kind of feel like it's winding down, and I'm really concerned. Well, not concerned, but like I really want to push this concert band season. That's really about it. But I'm ready for you to come and clinic these kids, man. They excited about you already.
Oh man, you weren't supposed to tell them off top. You were supposed to just kind of hold on and be like, "Hey, tomorrow we got blah 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 coming in."
Nah, bro, you famous, dog. They know who you are.
I don't know. I might tear up a little bit, man.
It's cool. Let them use you.
All right. I don't know. Would you prefer me to call you Doc or Doc Alfred?
You can call me Dr. G.
Dr. G. All right, Dr. G, man. Anything good happened to you? Any good news? Anything that you saw this past week that was just worth talking about?
I got some good news. A couple of days ago, I received my tenure and promotion at Texas Southern University. Thank you for the applause. It's been a long 6 years trying to get everything together, but I'm blessed and honored, ready to make some change,
Absolutely. Change. Yes, Lord. Don't make me put on the church music because my God, change. Don't get me started. We gonna get started way too early. We need to bring it back a little bit before we get into it. But that's definitely a beautiful thing. So 100% support to you.
And also for those who don't know, I'm a vocalist. So hopefully I can give some vocal perspective on some of the topics. Still a music educator, but we have some similarities. We have some differences in perspective. So hopefully I can give a little razzle dazzle to the podcast tonight.
Yeah, I look forward to it because I it's really interesting coming from a band perspective, but I'm always wondering what the vocal perspective is. So I'm definitely gonna enjoy hearing your insight that you have. And then for me, man, I actually want to send shout outs to my brother, Ricardo Brown. First of all, he passed his comp exams. And honestly, I already knew that was going to happen. But you know, I still want to give that man his love and show respect for him because man, every time I call him, I'm like, dog, what you doing? And I'm working on these comp exams, man. So I call him one day and he'll do that. Then I call him a week later, dog, I'm working on these comp exams. So much respect to him and shout out to him as well. Also, he has a feature that DCI featured on him. If anybody has seen it, if you go to dci.org, you will actually see the feature that they did on brother Ricardo Brown, my big brother, and my best friend. So just a lot of great things that's happening to him. He won't be joining us tonight, unfortunately. Honestly, let me be real. It's been a long time since the family has actually been together. So I miss the whole family, but yeah, he has a game tonight with UConn. So you know, we got to respect that. I mean, we still all in the game, so we still got to do the job at the end of the day. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get this whole thing started. Hey, listen, everybody out there who's watching right now, all the viewers, if you see something happen with my computer, it is because I don't have my normal computer. So it's a lot going on here in the DFW area. Let me just go ahead and say that. In Texas, we don't know whether we supposed to wear jackets or shorts. And so apparently, I mean, hey, I ain't gonna lie. But apparently, today it froze over. Yesterday they were saying that wasn't going to freeze or there wasn't going to be an ice, quote unquote, storm until nighttime. So I left work thinking, I don't need my computer. I'll just come and get it tomorrow after work or blah, blah, blah. And yeah, needless to say, I didn't go in today because the roads were pretty icy. A5. So you know, I just didn't get a chance to get the computer. So I'm working off my second computer. So if you see a lag or anything like that, or if you even accidentally see me pop out, that's why, because I'm working on a blessed computer. Let's just put it that way. I did whatever I could do to try to get this thing up and running for today's show. All right, so let's go ahead and kick this thing off the right way. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. As soon as you come in, go ahead and smash that like button. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Also, you can find us on all podcast networks, wherever you get your podcast. Just type in Real Talk That Talk. You can find us and you will pull us up right there. All right, here we go. First topic, we are kicking this off. So Quan kind of started it off a little bit, and I'm going to keep going with it. So as we know, this is the parade season for most or some. I don't know how to, I don't, it's parade season for a lot of people. Let's just put it that way. And so once again, thanks to Justin, Smash Time. He's been privy. He's been in the mix of it, in the thick of it. So I've been able to watch a lot of those videos. But in watching those videos, I myself had a couple of thoughts, and one of those thoughts are going to lead to a question. So the question on the floor, first one: are we preparing musicians, or are we preparing new age band heads? I'll ask again: are we preparing musicians, or are we preparing new age band heads? Quan, I saw your face, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you rock it first, bro.
That's hard, bro. And again, bro, every time we ask this question, it's hard because I understand the culture. I understand, you know what I'm saying? You know, a 2-year-old with a plastic trumpet, you know, that's blowing, you know, from that area. I understand it. I also understand the kid with the 2B drumsticks walking down the street talking about tap, 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 tap. I get it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I today even actually I showed my kids, my music appreciation kids, the whole Greedy City. We're, you know, dissecting that. So it's like I feel like Bear, that's a musician. You know what I'm saying? Like for those that seen the whole Gritty City, I encourage you to go watch it. But there's a young man, he marched for Southern. You know what I'm saying? Was a part of the Screaming Demons. Like he was a musician. The young lady Jazz that was a party, she was a musician. So I mean, that's hard for me, bro. So I can't give you no straight answer, band heads or not. But I will say this: we're creating musicians overall. But my question is, what's the follow-up after the fact? You know what I'm saying? Are those students also, are they into the concert band aspect? Are they into the jazz band ensemble? Matter of fact, because we're in Texas, I've seen at TMEA there was a young African American young man that was in the mariachi band that played trumpet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like those are musicians. So I don't want to just be one-sided and just look at, the culture in New Orleans, but just overall period. If the follow-up to that, you're exposing them to different genres of music, then that's a musician. Now, if you just, pushing down their throat, band, marching band, well, then you are creating a band head. You know what I'm saying? But if you're exposing them to all genres of music, then in my opinion, that's a musician.
All right, Doc G. I hope I said it right. Are we preparing musicians or are we preparing new age band heads?
Well, since I'm not a band person, I'm gonna say it's a choir head. They got choir heads out there.
I don't know.
They got choir heads.
I mean, you the resident expert. You would know.
So just to relate it to what I do, I like to say that where I work, I guess I kind of said it already, so it's no secret. But where I work, we try to relate to the students that we have coming in. So we do want to give them something appealing to see, but we have to always remind them that they're here to learn a skill. So if we can relate that to something that's pleasing, aesthetically pleasing too, then I feel like we're doing our job because, I might throw a little R&B tune that you want to sing at you, but you're going to learn this aria too that's in a different language, and you're going to learn about healthy technique. And I want you to leave the institution knowing how to do both the correct way, because I figure why spend the money for an education if you're not going to get a skill that you can get off of YouTube for free? Because we got a lot of people that want to be YouTubers now. I don't know why that is a career choice, but
as we are all on YouTube right now. But go ahead.
Yeah, they make a lot of money, but I feel like we can still, to remain relevant, we have to offer something that you cannot find. So just to keep that solid skill, that solid, like being a millennial, having the old methods, but then having the new methods too, introducing them to both sides. So I guess I answered the question.
You did a good job. I mean, you got your first one out, and it's cool. So I think you did a really good job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. See, look at you. Look at you. You're a pro already. So let me look at this another way. So like, Quan, you're a part of that culture, and I think that's a dope thing because you have a different perspective. Which this is why I appreciate you being here and just the platform in general, because different perspectives gives different insight and different learning environments. So I think that's definitely important. So when I'm looking at those videos and kid you not, I'm not going to sit up here and I act like I know these directors programs. So I really don't. I'm just, looking from the observable eye. My thing is, if I'm watching them and we know, and everybody knows, like that parade season is like hidden, Mardi Gras is hidden. But as you know, Quan, as a Texas educator, or both of y'all actually, because both of y'all Texas educators, festival UIL is like major. And so I start thinking, well, if they're doing this and they're not doing their festivals and or UIL, they're sending these same kids to university programs. Those university programs have an expectation. And when they're at those university programs, if they're not engaged, and I'm not saying that they are or not, I'm just, assuming, if they're not engaged in those different forms of music and those different idioms, then how do we keep them involved? How do we keep them engaged if all they're comfortable with during that springtime is getting ready to crank up for, the parades?
I mean, but that falls on the band director, bro. Like it goes back to him. If the band director is only speaking about, you know, blowing that hole, well, that's what you're gonna produce. You know what I'm saying? And as a director, and then the directors that we've had the privilege of being taught by, we have like their remnants with us. You know what I'm saying? Like we carry their spirit with us. I'm pretty sure like Dr. G, like her choir teachers, she has a little bit of them, as even uh, uh in her field. You know what I'm saying? So like when you think about that, bro, if you're teaching only band, and I'm gonna say it like this, being from that culture, what I experienced was, and the fall was football season. January, like the end of December, beginning of January, you're preparing for MLK and the stamina for parade season. After February, beginning of March, that's when you would actually start concert season. That's a big gap. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing concert, but you have some programs where I've seen where they do band all year because they're then preparing for the following year, the next year. So if you're only doing that, well, then you are creating a band head. But if you're promoting concert, wind ensemble, different things like that, then you have a well-rounded musician. Honestly, it falls on the directors, bro. It falls back onto the directors. Heavy is the head that wear the crown, bro. So those directors honestly carry the most influence overall.
That's an interesting thing when you said about that time frame of doing your concert season, because end of February, early March, you pretty basically at the end of the school year. So then my question is, then how much literature are you really getting in? How much are you really being able to divest into those kids these different styles of music when we start looking at it from that aspect?
You want to answer that, Dr. J? You want me to get it?
Go ahead. I'm a swing around later on.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a lot of time, bro. Like, and can I be honest with you? When I started being a band director, the time frame of UIL was hard for me, and I had to sit down with other seasoned directors because think about it. We march. If you have a good football team, your season really go to like November, the end of November, like December, right? By December, you should have already have completed your first piece for UIL. Like that should have already been done. We talking about you should have started looking at that piece September, October. By the time January hit, you should be mastering your second piece. And you know what I'm saying, second or third piece. While you're implementing, if you have a class schedule, the sight reading components. If you have the literature for the sight reading components, right? I think when it comes to UIL in Texas, like UIL come around the corner quick. So if you're not prepping, like for example, like right now, I'm already picking my music for UIL next year now. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not thinking like that, well, you're gonna lose. But in regards to where I come from, we didn't spend a lot of time on literature. You literally have a month. So March, April, and because we got out of school in May when we was in school. So that's not a lot of time. Then you got to learn pop and circumstance. You know what I'm saying? Your graduation pieces, so it's not a lot of time.
Or end of the road if you're gonna crank it up. you know.
Nah, we didn't play that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying?
We sang it though.
Yeah, we sang it.
Hey, yeah. I mean,
we definitely sang
you
it.
ain't got a euphonium cranking it up or a mellophone cranking it up, but if you singing it, you all right.
You know what I'm saying? But think about it. That's only 4 weeks. That's 4 weeks every day, and you're only possibly going to get 2 pieces. So, you know, but like I say, that was my experience. I can't speak for everybody, but I know for a fact what I'm seeing, and I don't want to speak just general, but a lot of literature is falling by the wayside, and or this is another perspective, or the band director only recycles what he knows. And that's another issue that we had. And we see that on the university level too, because we spoke about it, you know, where this might be an overture that they knew already. Hey, let me put this in front of you. Let me fix it up. You know what I'm saying? And we're not really pushing the envelope. So it's hard, bro.
I'm going to kind of get off topic and say collegiate level. When you want, I'm relating it to the things that the choir may be called upon to do that may not be the literature we want to do, but we're called upon it and they handing us a check, so we're gonna do it. Like if they invite us to like a church and they want us to sing gospel, and we could do that very well, we're gonna go. We may get more calls like that second semester. And even if we want to have a spring concert that features heavier literature, we're limited because we want to get that little check too. So so if you're called upon for things too, that can throw it off as well. And you may not be able to focus on all the literature that you want to do that may be upper level because you're called upon randomly to sing 5 concerts, Black History Month. You got this going on, then you got graduation, then this church then called you up, alum then called you up because this church want to hand you a check. So that plays into it as well.
Hey, I can ask a question. So I know, you know, me and Julian, we're band heads, but do you feel like, I guess in our realm,
I'm an old school band head. I'm not a new school band head, but go ahead.
Okay, you're old school band head. Behold. My question is, do you feel that even at the collegiate level, because I know we talk about it from the aspect of specifically HBCUs where they're entertained, do you feel that same, I guess, pressure at the collegiate level for choir and the voice department as well, to more entertain than
absolutely
focus on the literature?
Absolutely. I get so many emails, especially during Black History Month. They're specific about what they want us to sing. If they want us to sing something classical, can it be from Porgy and Bess, which I don't mind, but there are also other operas we could sing from, but they want Porgy and Bess. If they want us to come to a church, make sure you have a gospel number. You know, make sure you do something that's gonna wow. You know, so it places your ensemble to be in this box, because even if you want to do certain things, when you're getting all these calls and these checks, then you're kind of forced to just keep yourself in that realm. So yeah, it's weird. It's a weird aspect.
All right, cool. Great way to start this thing off. We kick this thing off. Doc G went ahead and got it started, so we good now. Everybody's comfortable. Everybody knows everybody, so we good now. All right, so let's keep it rolling, man. If you're just tuning in, welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. As soon as you come in, go ahead and smash that like button. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and get these likes up. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Also, you can find us at all your podcast sites. You can just type in Real Talk That Talk and you will find us. All right. Next one. This one is probably going to be a little bit deeper than what we're trying to dive a little deeper every time we go in. So here we go. I try my best to tune into as many podcasts as I can. Oh, look at the dog. You know, we only do apes in here. But I try to tune in as much as I can to as many podcasts as I can, you know, as a person who runs a podcast and as an educator, I can't always listen to everybody, but I try to peek in and out of everybody. And so I just so happened to be perusing through Facebook, and shout out to Crucial Conflict. You know, they are always doing their thing. So if anybody's watching, always get a chance to go over there and support those brothers as well. So one of the Crucial Conflicts videos popped up on my timeline, and so I took the time to actually go watch the full extent of the video. But it was very interesting because, you know, and I would post the video, but I didn't talk to him in enough time to try to get the video up. So I'm just kind of going to paraphrase what the conversation was. Ultimately, they were talking about the Mardi Gras and the bands that they saw at Mardi Gras, and it eventually turned into a conversation of you shouldn't say a band sucks, especially when you're dealing with kids. And then one of the responses was, if they put themselves in a position in a ensemble, then they're putting themselves out to be judged. And so it shouldn't matter if I say that you know they suck, or someone says that they suck. They're putting themselves out there to be judged. So should we be saying programs suck? I know Rick has made it his due diligence to say that he's not going to do that anymore, but it really brought on some thought, and it made me really want to ask this question. So should we be saying programs suck? Dot G, let's take it out. You got it first.
I would say no, but I feel like you can't really control somebody's opinion, and that's an opinion. And when you put yourself out there as an artist, you have to know that everybody will not like you. That's a part of being an artist, is staying true to your artistry no matter what no one else thinks about it. So I don't feel like we should be saying it sucks, but it's not saying it won't be said. But to build yourself as a musician, you have to develop this thick skin to know that I'm not doing it to please everybody. I'm doing it because this is what I'm meant to do. And no, I don't care. So I hope I answered the question right.
Hey, we already got the first one out, so you okay. You don't have to follow with that. You are okay.
All right. You know, I'm new.
You good. Just relax. You know, if you need to, grab a drink. It's okay. You know.
Oh, I got one on the side.
Look at that. Now don't go get me started. I don't got to go to work tomorrow either. They didn't cancel school because of this ice storm. Man. Yes, sir. I can go ahead. Yes, sir. Look. So I can go ahead and get a drink if I need to. All right, Quan, should we be saying what's going on, Chuck? My bad, brother. And I like your little hashtag there. Crank that concert. I like that. Quan, should we be saying programs suck?
So, no. I don't know. Just to answer your question, no. The reason why I say no is because it's a difference between criticizing and critiquing. When you're dealing with kids, and even at the collegiate level, and I hate to say it like this, but we the blacks, we got this shit bad. Like we really, really do. I've been, you know, blessed to Julian and Rick. I've been in the DCI world, like in it, you know, for the last like really 5 to 6 years, right? And they don't criticize each other. They critique each other. And this is my experience. Like they could say, well, now, I mean, they're doing modified bend leg, but they need to do it from this approach. And, you know, but their attacks and articulation was like this. Like they're stating facts. You feel what I'm saying? That's critiquing. When a person be like, man, that shit suck. Well, why? Because they wasn't blowing that hoe. Oh, what else? I mean, shit, that's it. I mean, like it has no substance. Like the old folks would say, it ain't got no meat on the bread. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the issue that I have. You have a lot of people that are merely criticizing kids. So tell me, and it's kind of like, I think this generation of kids, they're like, okay, so it's wrong. So how I fix it? Oh, you can't tell me? Well, shut the F up. Like, and I feel them on that because as a director now, sometimes I have alumni people, they come and be like, well, when I was in a band, well, real talk, your band sucked too. You feel what I'm saying? It's like I think there's a difference when there's a difference between critiquing and criticizing. I don't think you should criticize the kid, but I think you should respectfully say, hey, that was a good effort, but maybe you want to do this. Maybe you want to do this articulation. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you want to drop your jaw and shape your mouth like this. Hey, maybe you want to do an alternate fingering on that one. Try that real quick. But you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, respect your band director. Anytime I see a kid, even if it's a kid walking with an instrument and I don't know him, I'll spark a conversation with that kid and be like, hey, what's this blase, to try to push him forward. Criticizing a person, you're only stifling them. And that's why you see like hatred between HBCUs, their alumni and current bands, because they online, you don't know what I'm going through, but you just criticize. You a Twitter thug, you criticizing, but you're not telling me how to get better. That's the difference. So should we say programs suck? Nah. But if you have, in my opinion, if you have enough gall to criticize, but no information to correct it, well, you suck too. And that's the nicest words I'm gonna say for that. And I mean, however you want to do it, if you want to, catch the cut, throw these hands on the back by how I feel, we can do that too. Because you're not just about to criticize my kids, because I know what they're endeavoring through. If I go to Chuck and Chuck be like, say, pass your opinion, it's going to be respectful. You're going to edify them. Like, you don't have to beat a person down to build them up. I don't believe in that philosophy anymore. I believe that, hey, this is where you are. Let me build from where you are now. And then you go from there, bro. That's all I got. But criticizing, saying they suck, nah.
You got a little hot right there. All right.
Yeah,
Chuck, bro. Should we be saying programs suck?
What's up, everybody? Good to see everybody here. Thanks for letting me tap in. Man, I agree everything that Quan said, and I'm the same individual that if you can't tell me how to get better, then I'm
Hold
just
on, Chuck. Are you in a flower?
I knew y'all were gonna say something. Though I'm actually laying in my bed. This decor that my wife has put together. So I think that was the effect she was looking for. So
you got your little poison ivy on. All right, got you. Go ahead, brother.
He's blossoming.
And so
it's okay. I like it. It's nice.
All right. And so I think again, I've always been taught to take opinions with a grain of salt. And of course, individuals that can I always, I tell my kids, like, do what we do or do it better. Then, we take those opinions and we try to get better. We try to get better and improve. And I think that we, in our culture, our HBCU culture, which we love near and dear and go to blows for, we're so stuck on being competitive. There's a time and place, for everything. And there's nothing wrong with getting those competitive juices going. But when it's done, and how can we get better? I always tell my kids, hey, we're going to go to the competition at a game. We're going to do our thing. The gloves are on. Then when the gloves are off, we're going to eat some chicken together and take it to the crib. That's the perspective that I give them, because some people just can't let it go. Just can't let it go. And when we say things like your program sucks or this sucks or whatever, and there's no anything tangible behind it, and then we're really just tearing each other down, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help. And we see this again, leaders. We're all leaders of young men and young women, and in our community. And when we don't hold ourselves to a high standard, then our students are going to follow right along with us. We saw it recently with Juwan Howard. Now, I'm a Carolina kid, but I love me some Michigan basketball. That was me in middle school. I wanted to dress and be like the Fab Five. But Juwan Howard, in my opinion, was wrong. He was wrong in terms of slapping that coach, regardless of what, I get it, though. I get it, because I've been in those blow-bys as a basketball coach myself, that I don't even want to talk to the other coach. But you got to know that you're representing not only the university, but also your students as well. You saw as soon as he got violent, what happened? His students started getting violent, you know. And one of my band directors told me, he's like, if I don't act crazy, y'all don't act crazy, you know. And sometimes we gotta hold it in. And so again, we see it with directors. Oh, this band's trash, or whatever, and then the kids just kind of following it, and it just breeds, you know, bad. I don't know, not just bad vibes, but just a bad feeling amongst the culture. So I don't think we should say that programs suck. We should try to figure where we can help out. And if we don't have a valid opinion, then we just need to be quiet. Just need to be quiet, put our money where our mouth is, support, and let the professionals, you know, let the professionals or the individuals that have been trained in this profession do what they got to do to make things happen.
Say to piggyback what you said, Chuck, like I spoke to another professor and doctor. What he basically said, what he's frustrated about now is band has turned into gang culture. Like we're like literally that's his example. He said it's basically like Crips and Bloods with horns. Like
we can talk about frats. Same thing with frats and sororities.
Yeah.
Like sometimes people lose their way and their purpose, and it ends up turning to educated gangs.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And so now, like you said, like people don't know. Like I guarantee you, bro, like our Jews wasn't looking at the cues like, look at them over there. I should go steal off, or I should hit them in the head with a brick. Like they wouldn't like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
do you think that though? Like I'm just saying. I mean, we just never know, man. You know, you never know. Teddy was probably back there just plotting, like, dog, just let me steal off on one of them, dog. Like,
yeah, bro.
And they was probably holding him back.
He did drop. He did. No, but I think, like, again, it goes back to in my opinion, post-traumatic slave syndrome, because we could fight amongst ourselves publicly. Other cultures, they fight behind closed doors, even if they doing it. And what they do is publicly, you won't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about like that old school, like mom and daddy relationship. You know they got in an argument because daddy spent the rent money at the juke joint. But behind closed doors, Big Mama was like, I'm gonna get him. You know, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna make sure you have your school closed. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Like, why we're the ones always now social media pushing that agenda, pushing that type of narrative? Like, mess sells, and it seems like it's just us. I mean, now if there's some white, you know, media and propaganda, so forth and so on, then we need to promote that. I mean, like push that as well. But I don't see DCI Blue Devils talking about, look at them Crossmen over there. Just look at them. Just, you know, I don't see that, bro.
Nah, that's facts. Can I ask Dr. Alfred something?
Sure.
That popped in my head. I had this conversation with a colleague of mine or a mentor of mine, and as an individual that teaches high school band, been doing it for 16 years, and one day hoping to enter the collegiate ranks. I have noticed as a student and as a experienced music educator, why is there always tension between the choir and the band? It is not the kids. It's the adults. And I'm not saying that happens with you, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And so you got that friction going on. And if you're a kid that can sing and then play an instrument, you like, don't go over there. Your professor's like, don't go over there. Or the other professor, don't go over there. Like, you know, I don't know. Why is that?
From the perspective of, first of all, we try not to have that at my institution, because we do have people that are in band that are also in choir. We have less people who are vocalists that are in band. And especially during marching band season, because of the schedule. And in order to be rested and have the endurance to be able to sing, you might not want to be at practice, 5-6 hours a day. You might not be able to do that, to balance that. But I actually push for more people doing more things. But I have heard of that. I do not know. I'm trying to think if I had beef with any band people when I was in school. I probably did, but it was more so it was more so just the way they acted sometimes, I don't know, like I don't know. They left the practice room dirty too, so I was a little mad about that. I would walk in there with my little water, and y'all got spit and stuff on the floor and reeds and stuff thrown, and like y'all beating on the pianos and all of that. I got a little triggered, but yeah. So I don't understand that. I could see maybe if there's a conflict among maybe just the lack of collaboration among the departments, but we try not to do that as much as possible. Now we do tell them that please do not do more than 3 ensembles at one time. Like we got some kids that they want to get the money from the choir, they want to get the money from the jazz band, and they want to come and try to be an opera workshop. Now you're gonna fall short somewhere, so you got to make your choice. But I want to see more of that now, and I think we have to be more innovative. So to kind of tag on to it, I feel like a lot of the times people say things suck because it's different. It's innovative now, especially in regards to alum. Like we have a lot of alum that pop up, from 20 plus years ago, maybe even longer than that may come to a concert now and be like, well, back in my day, we didn't sing it like that. We sang it like this. And, and the students now they're taken aback, because it's like, we're not you, so can you meet us where we are and then try to inspire us and give us critiques? Build that relationship first with us, come in and help us, come to our concerts more, come see us, come to our rehearsals, offer help before you tell us how we're not doing it like you used to, so that was a telling of the other question, but I'm not beefing with no band folk. I'm good with y'all. That was me back in the day. I did beef with y'all a little bit because y'all left them practice rooms dirty. Okay, I'm gonna turn my mic off.
The lies she tell. We don't do that. Let me ask you this question. You guys were going from a more or less a leadership role and or perspective when you were saying about your perspectives on people saying programs suck. But like, what about outsiders? What about people who aren't, former musicians? What about them, right? Because in this day and age, those kids are seeing those same comments. They're looking at the comments, they're reading the comments, they're hearing these things. So, what about them? Should they? And I know that most of the responses are like, well, we can't control them, but just, from your thought process, should they be saying that programs suck as well? Is it affecting students? Anybody can take it.
I mean, from not being ugly is like, but that goes back to the spectator aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like being honest, there's whack kids here that sometimes be like, oh, the band suck. And I'd be like, well, what do you do? And it'd be like, nothing. Bro, shut the F up. You know what I'm saying? Like when it's like that, it's like, bro, whatever. Because you're not in the game. You're not in the field. That's why I say I get upset when I see high schoolers that you just march high school and you have no SWAC hours, no MEAC hours, no collegiate hours, and you critiquing or you riding hard for this particular band and you're saying it's your school, but you never marched there. You wasn't in the game, pimp. You didn't march at, in my opinion, the highest level of marching band. You didn't. So that's like real talk. All 4 of us talking about, well, LeBron James sucked. We'll put all 4 of us on the court with LeBron. Watch what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, put us in the ring with Mike Tyson in his prime. I could box like that. I've slap box in the hood. Nah, bro.
Well, first of all, if you put me on the court with LeBron James, I'm not gonna try to play, but I will get his autograph. Secondly, you're not putting me in a ring with Mike Tyson at all. I'm good. That's not even the thought. I don't care how old he is.
But yeah, but you see what I'm saying? Like, but that's how asinine it is. But social media makes people feel like their words are it weighs so heavy, and it don't, bro. And I think as directors, we have to have tough skin in order to translate that to our kids. Like, hey, bro, it is what it is, but you're getting the scholarships to Langston. You're getting the scholarship to these schools. You know what I'm saying? You have the opportunity to go to Norfolk and A&T and, you know, Texas Southern and these different colleges. You have the opportunity. And they just mad, bro. Like, so I look at it, anytime a person can't stop you from doing something, they try to distract you. So that's just what it is.
And before you get offended by an opinion, just look at the source, look at where it's coming from. And if it's just a random person on the street, just let it fall off your back.
Yeah, we have to have thick skin, especially, you know, we're in the public, you know, a lot, and we have to, you know, we have to have thick skin, and but we also have to have our ear low to the ground as well too. A lot of our, you know, mentors and people we've looked up to, they're also in tune with the community and things of that such. But again, you got to know how to sift through it. I think early in my career, I was just listening to everybody. If anybody said anything negative about the band, it was, you know, I was ready for that smoke. Because, you know, I felt like I had to, like, you know, go to bat for my kids, which we do, but, you know, you can't fight every battle, you know, and sometimes it will take away from your purpose.
And see, that's the interesting thing of, like, about everything that you guys said, right? Because we have to also remember that these kids live off of social media hype. So the reality of all of the things that you guys said is, as adults, we can look at it and say, "Oh man, I don't know who this person is. It don't matter." But these kids, they look at that. They're looking at the views. They're looking at the likes. They're looking at the comments, and they're trying to figure out, you know, where they fall in the hierarchy of importance, and whether we sound good or whether we don't sound good. And so, you know, it still leaves the question open: should people be saying that a program, especially when you're dealing with a secondary student, you know, when you're at a university level, the kids are a little bit more, obviously, a lot more mature. Cognitive development is taking a huge turn at that point. You know, they're able to kind of sit on their own, think on their own, percentage wise. But when you're talking about secondary education and secondary students, that development still is not fully there. And so, and especially in this day and age, like I said, a lot of these kids really, really, really depend on, you know, social media acceptance. I mean, let's look at all the kids who walk through the hallways with phones doing TikTok dances all day. You know, they're looking for those likes. They're looking for those annoying hearts, you know. And as I'm talking, y'all go ahead and get them likes up. But but they're looking for those things. So, you know, so once again, like, we still got to go back to that question: should we be saying programs suck? You know, when we start looking at it from that perspective, right?
Well, my last thing is this: the reason why I say we shouldn't, and we need to teach our kids from an early age not to, because if you give them a little inkling that opinion is important, in my opinion, it will be a revolving door and a snowball effect for the rest of their lives. Like, as adults, some of us as adults, we care too much of what people say about us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can't give that type of poison to an adolescent person that grows up in a society where social media is here to stay. The most we had, y'all, was Black Planet. If you had internet, you know,
it just depends on how old you are, because
right.
Black Planet was a little bit more down the line of my internet time.
You know
so
what I'm
I
saying?
just kind of want,
you had internet. Let's just start with that. You had internet. That's
right. We were the beginning of internet, like Netscape internet. Like that was my time.
And what I'm saying is, we didn't have internet.
I had internet at 12.
Oh, sorry.
When I was 12 years old. It was a dial-up kind, so I didn't stay on long because it took forever. Couldn't even get to one website without getting mad.
I mean, when I started, it was only like 3-4 websites you could have went to.
Then my account was restricted because I was 12, so I couldn't even go to the sites I really wanted to go to. And they wouldn't restrict the sites. They just was not 12-year-old. But, you know, I was still trying to research and stuff, you know.
You weren't trying to reresearch. You were trying
to
look
trying to research.
You're trying to go to Candy Stand. Candy Stand, for those that don't know.
I mean, I was still during that time when you got the AOL on the disc daddy, not even the CD. That was not the CD, not the CD.
And you remember when somebody would call and then you off.
Yeah, you can't, boy. I hate when my brother pick up the phone. It was tight. I was in there talking to somebody in AOL in one of the chat rooms, hitting the A-sex location, and as soon as
Yes,
she respond, all of a sudden, boom. Hey man, hey, it's just what it was, man. Hey, that was during my time though. I guess I'm dating myself at this point. All right, man. a little bit. Hey man, I'm older now, man. I got gray hair, so it is what it is. I've earned these gray hairs.
Bro,
All right, let's keep.
You're still 30 something, bro.
Burley.
No, you're 37. It's okay, dog.
Hey man, but hey, to most of the public, I'm old. You say what?
You're only as old as you feel.
Oh, I don't feel my age, but I
Okay.
know my age.
That's okay.
I feel like a young whippersnapper, but I know my age. You know, I ain't gonna sit up here and I'm not gonna sit up here because when I hit 40, I ain't gonna be like 40 the new 20. No, I'm 40. I may feel 20, but I'm 40. So hey, it is what it is, you know. My daddy told me that. All right, let's keep it staying rolling, man. If you just tuned in, welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Dang, I almost messed that up. Music education and more. As soon as you come in, go ahead and smash that like button. And also, please make sure you subscribe to the network if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're watching us on Facebook, go over to the YouTube, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You can also follow us on all your podcast platforms. Just type in Real Talk That Talk. Hey man, let me do a quick little stop right quick. My bad, I didn't mean to look at the chat. Let me do a quick stop real quick, and let me say that we're nearing the end of February. I talked about this on Monday for secondary sessions, but we're nearing the end of February and we're coming up in March, and it's my birthday month. All right, so I decided to do something very, very nice for everybody. So let me go ahead and talk about it real quick. If you have not done so, go ahead and check out all of our new merch. We got our merch coming up, and what I'm going to do in the month of March, I'm going to make sure that everybody has the availability to get 15% off on all merchandise. Once again, we're going to do 15% off on all merchandise in the month of March. So let's go ahead real quick and look at all the merchandise we have. We uploaded some new stuff, so we have everything available for you guys. So there we go. Boom. I hit the wrong one. There we go. So if you haven't checked out the store yet, go ahead and check out the store. There's the store. It's available to you. We got everything in here. We have our Talk That Talk shirts. We have We the Black shirts for thanks for Maya. And then we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable. We have all of those. And hey, just in case you don't know all your music, just rue it. All right. So we can also pick that up as well. Make sure that you tune. And we have the No Rap Daddies in the 5th. So all of that stuff will be available to you in the month of March for 15% off. All you have to do is type in the code. I ain't going to give it to you yet. I'm going to give it to you right at the beginning of March. But if you want to go ahead and check it out now, I'm going to go ahead and put the link inside of the chat. All right. Let's keep it rolling. Next topic. So we kind of addressed this, but I want to dive a little bit deeper. So when we're looking at these directors and all those kind of things, those who do believe and really, really invest in the parade season, and Quan kind of hit some really good points, but I really want to dive a little bit deeper. Do we value all aspects of music? Do we value all aspects of music? When we start looking at those directors and they don't participate in those concert seasons and they only participate in the marching season, or on the flip side, they're only doing concert season, right? So the question, do we value all aspects of music? Chuck, you can go ahead and take this one.
All right. I think it all depends on experience, but also not only experience, but wanting to learn more. For example, Juan's from New Orleans, and Mardi Gras is a big thing. And for somebody being on the outside of Mardi Gras and getting an opportunity to participate, of course, I always heard about it, but being there, I'm like, man, like they shut the city down for this. This is a major thing, and so Again, if you're in that environment, or I always say, if you always give a kid candy, that's all they're gonna want, versus trying and doing different things. So us as the educator, we have to not only want more for our kids, but also want more for ourselves, and try to learn as much as we can in our craft. And I think if you have an individual that maybe grows up in an environment that all they do is concert, all they do is jazz, all they do is marching, and they don't get those other aspects of a comprehensive program, they're not only cheating themselves, but they're also cheating the people that they're leading, that they're kids. And so again, I just think it depends on the educator and the person's perspective. If you've never been to, I don't know, Harold's Chicken in Chicago, like, you don't know what all the hype is about, until you go. And so again, it just depends on the person, in my opinion, and their perspectives and their experiences.
All right. Dr. G, do we value all aspects of music?
I'm gonna agree with what Chuck said. It really just depends on the director. My high school director was an older lady. Loved her to death. She introduced me to, well, the main thing we did were a cappella spirituals. Like, that's why I fell in love with Moses Hogan, because that's mainly what we did. But she still allowed us to do other competitions that exposed us to things that we did not do there. Like, I did do TMEA, I did do UIL as well. She wasn't fond of TMEA because she was older, and she was of the generation that was extremely discriminated against during the TMEA times. So she didn't like the competition. She didn't like when I did it. But she didn't tell me not to do it, because she knew that she was teaching the next generation, and she didn't want to, just totally prohibit me from doing it. So I think we have to be mindful of the generation that we are bringing up, as well as educators. It's like, we could love something so much and want to do it, but do we just want our students to be good at one thing? Or do we want them to be well-rounded? And I feel like this day and age, as time progresses, more and more students do not want to put themselves in boxes. I didn't want to put myself in a box, and that was back in early 2000s. But especially now, being on the collegiate side, we have less and less people that come in and want to just major in classical voice. They want to major in classical voice and have a minor in entertainment recording management, have a minor in theater, have a minor in business. And because our program is more eclectic, even when you major in classical voice, you're going to get a chance to experience the jazz ensemble. You're going to get a chance to experience the many aspects of musical theater and R&B and all these things. But the older faculty members sometimes have an issue with that, because they feel like they need to be just focused on one thing. But that's not the types of students that we are trying to attract and that we have. So I feel like I value all aspects of music, but I may come from someone who valued it, but they may have had some past traumas that they did not want to put on their students or whatever, and it may have skewed their vision a little bit. But I feel like as educators today, we should be open to more.
All right. Real quick before I go to Quan, Doc G, what high school did you go to?
I started out at Abraham Lincoln in Port Arthur, Texas, my 9th grade year, and then we consolidated to Memorial High School, PA Memorial. That's where I graduated from.
Okay, you went to Memorial. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I used to teach at Ozan.
Oh, we was beefing with y'all back in the day.
You say what?
We was beefing with y'all back in the day when we was.
Oh yeah, I know.
We was Lincoln.
Yeah, I heard all the stories. I had to get the whole history lesson when I got there, so I know all about it. Even when I got there, because we still had the Battle of the Bands and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
going out to Memorial and doing the Battle of the Bands, that was still heavy. Even I think my last year when they came to us, it was a nice little battle. It was pretty dope. So that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, I actually taught there. I taught high school at Memorial for 2 years.
Okay.
High school choir. Yeah.
Oh, Golden Triangle. I see you. All right.
We
Got you. I feel I'm part of the family. They made me a part of the family. Everywhere I've been, they induct me into the family. So I'm part of it.
Nice.
I'm a stepbrother of the Golden Triangle. All right, Quan, do we value all aspects of music?
No. I'm just say it like that. No. The reason why I say that is because it's now I do agree with everybody when they say that everybody has a preference, right? Everybody has their taste for music, right? But I think one of the thoughts that I wrote down was most directors are only comfortable of what they know because they know that I'm good at this, right? As a percussionist, like I had to get out of my comfort zone quick because I'm a band director. I couldn't go with the drum section and be like, all right, y'all, let's run these pattern flies and grids, because I'm comfortable with that. Nah, I had to be uncomfortable with the flute players and the clarinet players and, so that I can become a better music educator. And I think just like we're saying that, many of us, well, not many of us, but many directors, they're just comfortable at what they know. Like think about whatever that favorite jazz piece is that you love, you try to seek that piece out, not because the kids may agree to it or like it, it's because you like it. So sometimes because you have the power and autonomy to choose the music, like you put your ego in the way of the cultural relevance and the inclusivity of what the kids want or what the kids could benefit because you want to hear that because it's nostalgic to you. So that's number one. Number two, as directors, we have to ask ourselves, if we scan our band programs, our choir, are we including music that can speak to all of them? So even though my band is predominantly Black, I need to pull pieces that my Hispanic students can relate to. And I'm not just talking about like the typical like de colores or something like that. Like go dive deeper. Ask them, hey, what type of music is played in your household? Or Celia Cruz? Let me see if there's a Celia Cruz piece for a band that we can, that's on the level that you can play. For those people that love concert music, say, bro, it's more than I may mispronounce her name. Was it McGinty or McGinty? Like, there's more than McGinty. Like, there's more than Robert W. Smith and different things. Like, there's a whole world of music that we honestly haven't even tapped into. One thing Dr. G promotes is black women composers. Like, how many times have we truly dived into that and promoted that? And so, in my opinion, if we're not on a daily basis or through the years saying, okay, how can I be different this year? How can I push the envelope musically this year? What are some new pieces and some new literature that came out instead of just being inside of the box of what you know? That's why I say now we don't respect our music. Not being ugly from the HBCU sector. From choir, I know about Moses Hogan. Yeah, he's from New Orleans, but most people know Moses Hogan is because that's what's being seen. Elijah Rock. What's the other one they do? Come on, Dr. G, give me one.
Ella Jericho. Like they got a whole catalog, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Like is the bop though.
So, but that's the ones that what I'm saying. Like you could be a band head and know that one. You know what I'm saying? Come on, sister. I mean, all of that stuff, like, but it's a.
They surely sung it at Norfolk.
You see what I'm saying? But or what's his name? Brother Carter from I think it's Howard.
Roland Carter.
Yeah, Roland Carter. Like we know of the greats, but what about the other ones? There was a gentleman. I'm gonna get it before we get off the show, but he did a song based off of every Black person that was killed. He did like Trayvon Martin. He did the one Eric Garner that was choked, and he did a moving piece of that. Like, why we're not promoting that aspect? Like, we're not pushing music honestly as we think we are, because we're just comfortable with this box. And a lot of the times we're pushing things only because of our ego, not really what's benefiting the kids. When it comes to UIL for state of Texas, we're only pushing what can get us the one. Like, we're talking like what can get us the one. And in a burnout session at TMEA, one of the people that stood up said, "Are you really going to competitions because the kids are benefiting, or is it you to put another triangle trophy in your staircase?"
Bro,
You know what I'm
I've said that for years, man. I've said that for years. And one of the things, and I don't mean to interrupt you, I'm gonna let you finish. But no, one of the things that I learned from a very good director, I can't remember his name. He came in and gave us a clinic a long time ago. He said, I don't focus on trophies because all they are dust collectors. That's what I call them. They're just dust collectors. What I focus on is if the kids are actually getting anything and benefiting from what we're doing. And I think that is one of the things that I took with me from that time on, because I used to be that person who used to stress out a lot because of scores and blah, 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 and all those things. And now, since then I've learned to focus more on the kids. So yeah, 100% Quan. But go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you good, fam. So like there's a piece that I truly recommend everybody to, while we're still in Black History Month, play for your kids. Your band kids or if you teach music appreciation, it's called the 7 Last Words of the Unarmed. Why is that not being pushed? Like, if you look at that piece and you don't cry, like, it's hard for you to, in my opinion, that you have a soul, because it's that epic, it's that prolific. We're not pushing that. We're just pushing what we're comfortable in, just so we can say, hey, I got another trophy. Because I end with this, one time we talked about a topic about growth. What I realized for my program here at Worthing, and I know many people may not know the history, but I'm growing every year. Now, am I satisfied with the growth? Absolutely not. Do I want a triangle trophy? Absolutely. But not having a trophy doesn't define my greatness as a director, as well as it doesn't define the growth of my students. So we gotta check that at the door. But overall, the question: do we value all aspects of music? No, we don't.
Doc G, you said something that made me think about your directors, right? And so you were saying something about your choir director was old fashioned and so old thinking. So that kind of made me think, like, are a lot of directors nowadays, because they came under an older regime who had old thinking, only regurgitating the things that they receive? And so because of that, we may have lost a lot of the value of the other aspects of music.
I feel like that can be the case. I was a different type of student. I loved the things that we did, but I always wanted more. I wanted to be exposed to more. So I do feel like that can be the case sometimes. It's crazy because when I taught high school, y'all talk about Elijah Rock. I tried to teach that to my choir, because I loved it. I feel like, it was giving me what it was supposed to give back in the day. But I think one thing we have to realize when we do introduce either the songs that we loved or new music or whatever is you have to know what you're dealing with as far as your ensemble is concerned and their skill level. I could love the heck out of a piece, even with Black female composers. I actually co-wrote an article in the Nats Journal about basically knowing what level to give these pieces to students at. There's the beginning, there's the intermediate, there is the advanced, because that music is not easy. So as much as we love it, sometimes we have to wait on it because we have to build the skill set of our ensemble, of our students, before they're able to do it at a very high level. And if I do give out the music, I want to make sure the skills are there so you can do it right before I give it out. So I learned my lesson with Elijah Rock. I loved it in school, but when I tried to teach it, I was like, "Hold on, I ain't got nobody to sing that high note." I wanted to do it so bad, but I didn't have the ensemble for it at the time, so I should have tabled it. But the kids loved it so much, I left it on the program. So we have to know what our ensembles are. We have to know what type of students we have. We may have a student with a wonderful instrument, but does not have the musical skills to be able to sing some of the repertoire that we love just yet. And it's not saying that we won't be able to do it. We might be able to do it in sections until we can get the whole thing. So that's another aspect to think about when it comes to assigning the music that is newer this day and age.
And here's another perspective. I while you guys talk, I always think of these different things, right? So when we're talking about the university level, and Doc, you would be well versed in that, but we can also speak from just our particular experiences. When we talk about the university level, do we feel like we're, or just HBCUs in a whole, music education programs, are we sending our kids out there to be educators that value other aspects of music as well, right? Because if and now and I, like I said, I can only speak from a band perspective, but I know you can give us the choir perspective. But I know that if we all we received was Crank It Up in the university level, then what are we going to go out and give to those kids? Or here's the other flip side of it. What if I was that kid who was at the university level who loved marching band but never did wind ensemble because I didn't think wind ensemble was cool, or that wasn't my stilo, right? And they made it through university programs without having to do a wind ensemble. They may have did a small ensemble just because they had to, but when they got their own program, they were like, I don't want to do that. So what about that? When we start looking from the university aspect of it, do university directors value other aspects of music?
I feel like some of them do, some of them may not. But I'm going to actually challenge the question and say, as a music student, you should also be doing your research too. You should be building your library. You should be, if I tell you about a composer in my class that I'm teaching about song literature, hold on, don't get mad yet. You have to take your responsibility as a student. And I even started something with my students. I was like, I want you to pick out your repertoire for this semester. I did that when I was in school. They needed assistance, some of them, but I'm like, you need to know what it is you can do. And I want it to be something that you want to do this semester. So choose it for me. Do your research. So I feel like we have to build that skill too, so that we can get them prepared to be able to choose repertoire, because we want them to choose it as well. So directors may not give you every single thing, because I do feel like sometimes directors have a disadvantage depending on the level of students we have in our ensembles. But as a music major, you should be taking responsibility for your own education and extending your studies. The reason why I dived into Black women composers is because I was just in the library one day searching for a Black male composer and was like, hold on, I like this woman too. And it was me. It wasn't my teacher. My teacher didn't even know about it. So you have to take responsibility too.
And see and the reason why I made the face, because of the fact that you said the thing that's 100% correct, but I also have to think about the experiences that I had as a young person, right? If I'm 18, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking that where I'm going, the institution that I'm going to is going to provide me the information that I'm supposed to receive. And the information I'm receiving is the correct information. I didn't know that I missed a lot of information until I graduated and went into different spaces. I realized then that wait a minute. So I didn't learn this. I didn't get this. I didn't get this. I'm thinking at 18, this is what everybody's getting. So to say that, I think you're 100% correct. But I also think that those kind of students are literally a dime a dozen. I think that you are, I'm going to honestly say it, I think that you are one of those people who are the anomaly. I think that you're the one who said, hey, I'm just going to go out there and get it myself. You know, I can definitely say this. My good friend and my chapter brother, Joseph Jefferson, he did the same thing. He said, hey, I'm getting out of Norfolk, and he left Norfolk and he went somewhere else. You know, he realized that he wasn't getting the proper tools that he needed. But how many music educators, when they walk into a lot of these HBCU programs, and let's keep it a buck. You know, I'm not gonna name anybody specifically because I know you're on payroll, but I'm just saying, let's keep it a buck. No, I'm not gonna name any university. But you know, a lot of our HBCU programs are not providing the information and the necessary tools that music educators need to compete when they step out of there. So if I'm 18 going into that program, I'm thinking that I'm receiving what I'm supposed to receive. If that made any sense.
It did. It made a lot of sense. And I feel like I'm going to challenge that and say, when they enter, when they enter the program, I get a lot of students who have never even sang any type of repertoire before. Like I get students that, you know, we meet them where they are. If they have a talent, if they want to sing, we're gonna get you some music. We're gonna teach you how to do it. With those students, I probably will have to choose everything for them up until they leave, and I probably will have to give them resources and work with them individually. But for the ones who come to me more skilled, I will challenge them and say, okay, for your junior recital, I want you to choose your last 3 pieces. By this time, I've chosen your pieces for the first 3 years of your life. So you should know what you can and cannot do. And, you know, I'm not going to leave them. I'm not going to hang them out to dry, but I will challenge them with that. And I even challenge my students sometimes when they're at senior level music ed. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be the student. I want you to teach me. Sit on that piano and let me see what you can do. And they freak out, but got to put you in the scenario, put you in the situation, so I know that you can be prepared. So I agree. You have to really just tailor it to the students that you have to. Like if you have a student I have students that have came up to me since I started doing my research on Black women composers, and they want to dive into the repertoire as quickly as possible. I have some other ones that they wait for me to do it. So you got to know what you're dealing with in every situation.
See, I'm gonna push back on you then. See, we can keep on pushing because I'm gonna say that you're the outlier, because for every one of you, there are probably 3 to 4 that are opposite. Like when I think about my education, and this is no slight to Norfolk State. Let me just go ahead and put that out there. This is no slight to Norfolk State. But when I just think about my education, I had, you know, Miss Sanders. I think Miss Sanders is phenomenal. I think that what she does is phenomenal. I think the information that she provides you is phenomenal. But I had a horrible experience when it came to string studies. I didn't actually learn strings until I got into the position. I didn't know nothing about no strings and violin and blah 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 blah. And I mean, I'm just keeping it a buck. I think, matter of fact, I'm gonna just go ahead and put this out here. I never took a final piano exam. Never. Ever. I took the first 2, but I never took my final.
Though? Why?
But that's my point. That's literally my point. Right? And my thing is, when I look back at it, I'm like, I know chords. I can play chords, and I'm good now. But back then, you know, I did my first 2 exams, but that final I did not take. But my and I still passed. But my point,
you gotta go back and take it, bro. You gotta go back and take it, bro.
Oh no, I'm good. I got that degree now. I'm good.
I was sweating bullets. I sweat bullets and mine. I almost passed out.
Hey, look,
you didn't take
you didn't have about Chuck or me?
You
Julian,
Yo, me? No, I didn't have a
you
final.
take the proficiency exam.
you
No.
didn't learn lift every voice.
No.
You didn't,
No.
you didn't learn the Star Spangled Banner.
Whoa. I didn't take the final.
Okay.
I took the first two because I did learn America. I didn't do lift every voice. I did the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah.
So I
real.
did.
You ain't
I
real.
did do all of that. But when it came down to the final, when I was supposed to be in a room with all the professors and I was supposed to play off of them, I didn't do that,
You ain't real.
You still passed.
Bro,
and I still passed.
I had to play a minuet from Beethoven by memory. I almost passed out from page 1 to page 2. I paused for like 5 seconds. It felt like an hour, and then like okay, and then I played. And so man, that was probably one of the most stressful times of my life. And then they put my name up with the other people on the door that we passed, and I was like, thank God I don't have to do it again. You know.
Well, congratulations! I'm telling you, I didn't do.
I'm
Now,
Somebody.
I'm gonna say this again. Let me just make sure I put this out here. I did do the practicing. I just never took the final. And I can tell you now, I can't play it now. Not as well as I could play it then. I can hit you with them chord daddies. I got my F's and my B flats. I'm good. I got you. I ain't playing that melody though. But my point is, huh?
I think I play mine weekly. Anytime I
Yeah.
look at the piano, I go to it. Yeah, I can't get it out my head.
It's in your brain. But you know, but my point is that was my experience. But there are so many other people who have had something similar to that at other HBCUs. And what I'm saying to you, Doc, is you're the outlier. You're that one person who is going to say, "Hey, I see where you at, baby, and I'm going to challenge you." You know, but when we look at our institutions, my question is, what is the percentage of professors that are doing that? What are the percentage of professors that are challenging these students at a high level? I know that when I got into my master's program, every single one of my professors challenged me. There wasn't one who was going to let me go. There wasn't one who was going to let me just fall by the wayside. Because there is an expectation when you walk in there, because those people know that when you walk out of there with their name attached to you, that university attached to you. Whereas I don't know, and like I said, I'm only coming from the band perspective. When we walk out of our universities, as long as we can get a band and we can make them crank up, oh man, he graduated from da-da-da, that's one of our kids. You know, but when we go to festival, it's not like that. It's not like, oh, that's one of our kids that got all ones at festival. But oh, if they win a battle of the bands though, oh man, we shine and we putting them on there. You know, if they got, you know, X amount of YouTube views, oh, that's one of ours. But don't let them go to festival and get it through. Yeah, you know, well, I don't know that kid. They ain't come from, you know what I'm saying? So I think that like I said, what you're saying is right, but I think what you are is an outlier.
But also, I want to say this. I pray that we get to a day in Louisiana that we promote LMEA. I really wish that we do the same for Mississippi. I wish we do the same way we promote, in my opinion, and this is the real. The way we can alter and change our culture in a positive manner is the same way we promote these gym battles. Promote that you're going to, to play at TMEA, you know, that you have all state students. The same way that we promote, you know, we did this example and I looked it up myself, how, you know, Power was a great song by Southern University this year, but also promote and share their wind ensemble concert as well. If we begin doing that, then, because it has to be done by the popular people. It has to be done by your Southerns, your Prairie View, your Jackson States, and different things like that as a continuum, not just one every other year. Because we talk about what's the trombone section at Jackson State? I'm thinking of that name.
SOP.
Whatever. SOP. But they have an awesome trombone choir though. You know what I'm saying? Like, We need if we continue doing that, bro. Like, you know, I don't know if it's a such thing as a euphonium choir, but you know, we speak about like how TSU be cranking that thing. What if they had that at TSU like a euphonium choir that plays?
Because it does not get clicks, bro. It
But
doesn't get
Mhm.
clicks. It doesn't get likes
but
because
he,
that goes back to I don't want to interrupt you, but I have to say it. It doesn't get clicks and it doesn't get likes, so that's not what directors nowadays value.
Mhm.
We have to start looking at what they're valuing now.
So I agree with you, but the only way that it's gonna change is if we promote it the same way. And I say that because of this. If the same people who are quote unquote on top of these marching band games, if they show a different side and it's good, you can't deny what's good. You know what I'm saying? And if you keep promoting that, that's when the culture changes. When I walked into these doors, the kids didn't even listen to me because they felt like he gonna leave just like the other band director. When I came back after Christmas, they was like, okay, he pretty cool. Then when I came back the next semester, they was like, shit, I guess we could kind of rock with him. Let's see if he gonna leave. And I came back the next semester, they was like, all right, bro, you pretty cool. We gonna operate. Like you have to, culture change will not change overnight. It's gonna take some years of fixing. I feel you, bro. But it's gonna take some years of fixing. Like we know that TSU has one of the a real good euphonium section. But if they did something different and then they continuously did it in season and out, I'm just saying, like them other kids would be like, say, bro, them boys cranking and they playing with clarity. Listen to the overtones, so forth and so on.
Hey,
Like it can be done.
I gotta jump in, man. You see what Jared just posted there. I was just about I was just about to say this, and I'm trying not to forget some of the things I was about to say. I had a conversation with Jared's just talking about it right now with Kendrick Taylor. Kendrick Taylor was wrapping up some graduate credits at Vandercook during my second summer, right? And we got a chance to hang out, and you know you're friends with Facebook people, but you ain't never met them before. You know, I walked past them on campus, and I was like, you're one of the assistants, you know, at Southern. And he had his jacket on. He turned around. He's like, yeah. He's like, wait a minute, you teach Cesar. So anyways, we got to chop it up. And I never forget, this is when he was an assistant now, before he was interim and before he was director of bands. And we had a conversation and you know, and I'm not going to talk in detail about that conversation, but he just posted a video yesterday or the other day of his wind ensemble, you know, and these were things that he was talking about years ago. He's like, man, I want people to see more than what is out there. He's like, it's gonna take some time, but I want people to see more of Southern, you know, versus what they always see. And so we know because we talked about this probably a month ago. I think Ms. Zachary was on there, and we were just talking about having videos being accessed. I know that I can go to my alma mater, the BGMM North Carolina A&T, go to their YouTube page. You not only see, of course, the marching band stuff, we got percussion ensemble, we have wind ensemble stuff, we have jazz band stuff. Everything is readily accessible, but we don't see enough of it out there for, you know, for everybody to see. And it starts with, of course, us as the leaders. If we don't know what it is to play in a brass ensemble, woodwind ensemble, chamber ensemble, solo and ensemble, all those things, if we've never done or experienced those things, then we're not gonna, if we don't seek those things, then we just say, that's what such and such school does. Or, you know, we've heard it that that's what them white schools do, you know, and we put that out there, and we can be a poison to our kids by repeating that stuff, you know, and closing their mind or having them have a different experience. You know, I'm giving an analogy one day. I always give analogies about sports and food because those are two things I know besides music, right? And I was telling them about stuffed chicken, and none of them ain't never had it before. And I said, you know what? We're having that at the band banquet this year because I need you to experience that. Because I was telling him like the textures of, this one piece compared to another piece. I was like, it's like having, if you've never sat down for a 4 or 5 course meal, you might not know what forks go for what and how it comes out and how it all makes sense why you eat your salad and your soup and different things in different orders. So again, not to get off topic, but it starts with us, and both of you guys like not triggered me in a positive and a negative way. Quan said something earlier about the pieces. I had a band director and he just recently passed away, Mr. Timothy Chambers. He taught at Jackson State, taught at Alcorn State. He was an assistant at Jackson, a grad assistant with Paul Adams, during that era. It was just a legend. He was an applied instructor for Miss Saunders when she was a freshman, and so he always used to say, we're creatures of habit. We're creatures of habit. And I remember when I was at A&T and a jazz professor, he's passed away too, Dr. Day. Dr. Day, the first piece we would always play was Splanky. First piece we would every year, that was the first piece every year. And I've never played it with any of my jazz bands. I refused to play it. I played Backstabbers for 4 years, the Lindsey Sargent arrangement when I was in high school. I have yet to play it with a high school band because I'm so sick of it. Like, we get traumatized, and as a young director, I used to pick all of those hefty pieces, the Tekelis, the great composers, and then go to festival and get 8 up. Why? Because it was my ego. I was like, I played this in high school, you're going to play it too. Versus doing what, and Dr. Alfred said this, and this was a good trigger. I remember Mr. Chambers, we used to, in conducting class, have to make a program. He was like, what program would you do for your beginning ensemble, for your intermediate, for your advanced? And we'd have to sit and listen to J.W. Pepper and listen to these pieces and say, why did we select this? And be very detailed with this. And he would give us feedback and say, that might not be the best for your beginning group, or for your advanced group, you may need to push them a little bit more. What piece would you introduce 6-8 times, to your ensemble? Like we had to do those things. And even in the applied, area, I don't know if you guys as students ever had a piece kind of follow you. Like, I had 2 applied instructors that played this piece entitled Morceau Symphonique, which is standard for, lower brass for trombone players. And I heard one professor play it at a concert and had another one play it. And when it came for my senior recital, he asked, hey, I want you to pick a couple pieces, and I said, I want to play that piece, because I kept hearing my professors play it, and I felt that it was an important piece for my instrument. And lo and behold, it's one of the standards, for it. And so again, it's up to us to push our students, but also provide the environment or the culture. Today, we had sectionals, had a band room full. I sat in my office working on like festival stuff and sending emails, but one of my seniors pulled out our sight reading, books that we have to get them, to help them with sight reading for the sight reading portion of festival on their own. And I was just sitting, and he's going to be a music major, but not sure exactly where he's going to go right now. And I sat in my office, and I'm like, what I'm saying? That's what you want. I was really appreciative that they were, just taking the things that I taught them and taking it, to a whole nother level and doing it on their own, versus us like spoon feeding them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. And just to kind of go back to a lot of the things you said, first of all, shout out to Kid, dog. Shout out to Brother Taylor, man. A lot of people see him in front of the marching band, and it's easy to just really kind of expect one specific thing from him. But I've had the pleasure of actually sitting down with him and having a conversation with him when he came to Dallas, and I was still working at the high school, man. And Brother Taylor is definitely a smart brother. I call him obviously Brother Taylor because he made great decisions as an ice cold brother at Alpha. So, no, I had a very similar conversation with him and just talking to him about his approach to music and his thought process on music education and how he approaches the band. So, shout out to Brother Kedrick Taylor. And then the other things that you guys were talking about, and more or less, just kind of thinking about all the things that you guys said. I think the biggest thing is just the fact that the reason why, like, Ked puts out stuff but it doesn't get views, right? You want to try to put these things out, but the other half of that is just the fact that a lot of these people and a lot of these directors are even afraid to take those chances. They're afraid to lose, and that goes exactly back to what I was saying earlier about the social media presence, about trying to stay in, I guess you want to say, the dominant society of social media, right? They're afraid to lose street cred. I don't want to lose my street cred if I put this wind ensemble out there and I promote that video more than I promote the marching band video that's playing 10 rap daddies back to back. And I think that is one of the biggest issues. Yes, these kids need to be exposed. I think it is an amazing thing that Southern has a great wind ensemble. Jackson has a great wind ensemble. Hell, Jackson has a great jazz band program. Hell, Texas Southern has a great jazz band program. But we don't see those things. And I think that if we start promoting those things a lot more and we take the chance and we take the step out there and do them, and promote them a lot more and put the same effort and energy into the video productions as we do that marching band. Put 3-4 cameras on there. I don't understand why we do that. We put 3, 4, 5 cameras on a marching band perspective. We get what's the joint we put on the hats? I can't.
The GoPro.
Yeah, we put the GoPro on the percussion dude, and then do a whole sweet video with sound editing and everything. But then we do the one still camera, and that's all we get for our wind ensemble. Why can't we put a GoPro on one of the percussion sections and actually
some wind, like some people that play for the New York Philharmonic that have done that, which is like, oh man, it's so dope. But that's not to cut you off, but that's what I told Kendrick in that brief conversation. I was like, if y'all do this and expose the wind ensemble and some of this other stuff, you're gonna change the game. You're gonna change the game because all it takes, just like, I mean, you think about the Chicago Bulls and they were running the triangle offense. People didn't know what that was, and they started researching.
Nobody know what it was.
And everybody started doing it. I did it as a coach because I was like, hey, this is amazing, and I want to use it for my players. 1 year it worked, the other year it didn't. You got to have the right clientele. It's like playing a grade 6 and you got a grade 3 band. You got to know who you have. And so, but again, I remember I was like, that if you do that, it's gonna lead the way. And I think some of our pillars, if we can see more of what they have, it will. The kids will see it. Like my kids ask about that stuff. Where's the wind ensemble? Or I want to see what the percussion ensemble is doing and stuff like that. And sometimes it's hard. It's slim pickings. But like you said, it needs to be in 4K. The GoPro, all of that stuff. People need to see it and see the process, and it will definitely expose our kids to just a whole new side of things.
And I guess to wrap up the aspect of this question or conversation for me is, if, like you said, if the pillars do it, it'll change the game. We all know this. Drake can get on the song and we hate that hoe, but I guarantee he's gonna go platinum because it's Drake. So if some of these pillars of these bands, so if Brother Taylor continuously push the wind ensemble, somebody who may have just always been a bandhead because they're a diehard Southern fan, they're gonna be like, it don't matter. We got a great band, a human jukebox, and we got a great wind ensemble. I guarantee you that's gonna happen. And then you're gonna see a trickle of other directors because it's a competitive aspect. Well, we can't just have one portion of us, even though everybody's satisfied with one portion of their music department with the marching band. Let somebody else say, well, we're going to give money to the wind ensemble too because they playing at the governor's ball. Somebody else going to hop on that train too. Oh, the jazz band popping up again? They're going to hop on that train too. Like we could say what we want, but the reality is Southern is trendsetters. Like we just have to put it out for what it is. Regardless if you hate them, love them, or indifferent, they're trendsetters. FAMU, they're trendsetters. You have some bands that honestly, they can't do no wrong. Like we're talking, if they change the field show concept, people will be like, did you see what FAMU did? Did you see what Southern did? Like unfortunately, they have that hold on the HBCU culture music realm. And if they do it, it'll be completely changed. Could you imagine if Southern marched out on the field, but then decided we're going to feature the trombone choir? Somebody else going to do it and be like, Southern did it. Remember when FAMU, I think FAMU, they used to do like the little trumpet lick. I know PV used to do it like a little while back. Like when they used to do like the little hand-to-hand thing. I know the Desiacs, like y'all did it.
Yeah, we got that from Rick, brought that over from the cadets. That was actually a Ricardo Brown. Let me just go ahead and put that out there, man. Ricardo Brown, once again, is a lot more important to the
Black
craft
history.
than a lot of people. Right, this is Black history here. He's a lot more important to the craft than a lot of people think, man. That move was done first by the cadets. Rick brought it to Norfolk State, and after that, I saw it in a lot more places. It started with cadets from Ricardo Brown.
We got it on the other side of the stadium. It was like, oh, like y'all just got on. Like,
yeah, so you can't say Brown ain't part of the culture, man. He is part of the culture, man. But yeah, so I agree, Quan. I agree. And then finally too, man, let's put some GoPros on these percussionists and these wind ensembles and really show what percussionists truly do, moving the 2 and 3 and 4 instruments at one time, having 3 and 4 percussionists back there for like 7, 8, 9 parts. I mean, let's just
ninjas. They gotta be ninjas.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been dealing with percussionists for so long, and I'll be like, all right, here's your part. And they be like, all right, so which one part do I have? No. You got the whole page, bro. Yeah. This is percussion too. There are 3 different parts in there. You're going to have to deal with this glockenspiel. You're going to have to hit this goddamn cymbal part. You got to do all of it. So figure it out. So, all right.
And we have to also think about, though, when we plan on like giving this different repertoire to our group, I know because of the value that I hold on repertoire, sometimes we could kind of like basically screw ourselves as directors because we want it to be at a certain level. So we don't put it out there because we don't feel like it's at that level yet. So we have to understand that it's going to take a little bit more time to marinate. So give the repertoire earlier, teach it in segments, and then still put it out. And know that it may take a little bit more time to get to a level that you needed to get to. But I feel like it can be intimidating sometimes to put the repertoire out because, you don't want it to look like a parody. Like you don't want it to look like a joke because you have so much respect for it. For example, I teach vocalists. We do tackle operatic repertoire. We know opera is very difficult. So sometimes I don't program it when I really want to because I don't want to make it seem like somebody is up there not giving their all at the repertoire. So I may hold it off for a certain performance because I do want to give it a little bit more marination time before I put it out there. And I feel like if we do that more, then we'll be more confident with putting it out there too. So we lose our confidence and we just go for what we know. But that's doing a disservice as well. So giving it out earlier, having it in the chamber and be like, listen, we might do this for the spring concert, but you getting it in August and you're going to work on it until then. And we're going to put it out there. I don't care, and nobody needs to know how long it takes. But if it's at a good place, then just go ahead and give it and teach it in sections. That's another thing that I wanted to put out there.
All right. And that was a great way to close it out. So let's keep it rolling, man. This has been a great conversation so far. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Go ahead and smash that like button as soon as you come in the door. Don't wait. Just go ahead and click it. It don't take that long. Just a little bitty button. Just take it and just click it. That's all you got to do. Just boom, click it. All right. All it takes is one finger. All right. Also, please make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the network. If you're watching us on Facebook, go over to the YouTube, subscribe to the network. Also, turn on notifications. You can find us on all your podcast networks at Real Talk That Talk. All right, we're coming up on the last topic. Also, I will make sure that I put the link inside of the chat so that if you want to come in and talk to us and call in with us, I will give you the opportunity to do so. Just make sure that you refresh your browser, and the link will be inside of the chat. So just to bring all of this stuff home, we talked about a lot of great topics, and this is going to be the culmination of this final topic here. And we started talking about parade season and all that kind of stuff. And we know parade season, man, marching band, blah, 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 going down the street, doing the field shows, all of the stuff, playing in the stands. We get the kids in, but what keeps them in? We get the kids in, but what keeps them in? If we're a person who's trying to keep or have a eclectic program, we're trying to teach all these different things, is that going to keep it in? Is doing marching band the whole time going to keep it in? Some kids might want something different. So we get the kids in, but what keeps them in, Quan?
Good teaching. I think that really boils down to it. Anytime that I lost a kid from band, I always ask them, well, what's the problem? They, in their heart, they felt that they weren't being taught properly. And it might not have been by me. Maybe they came in the year late and they were beginners, because a lot of the time I have beginners. And so sometimes, beginners to hit that wall where it's like, say, bro, like, I don't get it. I don't know it. And they get frustrated. But I think overall, good teaching and the constant being aware of who your clientele is will keep them. The constant pointing out of, hey, this is my standard, but I just want to let you know you're getting better today. Like those little things, building that rapport with the student to inform them that, this is a marathon, this is not a race. Those approaches, and also being personable, all of those things, in my opinion, while setting a high standard and creating leaders to where sometimes they may not feel comfortable coming to you, they're comfortable going to their section mates. All of those things, creating that positive environment, is what keeps the kids.
All right, Chuck, we get the kids in, but what keeps them in?
Man, I definitely agree with Quan in terms of good teaching. But also, providing I don't know, I want to say, we all say safe space, or welcoming environment that they look forward to being there. I had the art teacher the other day was like, man, you got like 50 kids waiting for you when you show up to work, like, what are they doing? I was like, they're coming to the band room, to see their family mates and stuff, and just having that, that welcoming environment, but also, challenging them as well too, and being relatable. They got to know that you did this one day as well too. Last week, I taught from inside of my ensemble. I picked my instrument up. I picked up some other instruments that I'm not that good at, and sat right with them and played our festival music, and was vulnerable on areas that I know I needed to be better. But they saw that, and they saw that I was once a high school band student too. Or I always tell them when I was in middle school and I was trash, and how I got better. I say, hey, and I let those ones know. Like I got a beginning student that was almost going to transfer out of my class, and I was like, hey, let's try this clarinet. And now this kid is like in all county ensemble, in a matter of months, because he's just been working at it, and we found his fit. And I always, just try to tell him, like, I took this from Doc Rivers. He said, be an all-star in your role. find out what you can do, and then just try to be the best at that. And so I like to just have a family environment, and that's what I try to provide. Like, hey, look, you stressed out from your other classes, then you can relieve that stress here through your instrument and with your bandmates and your buddies, and even sometimes I've had students run to my band room that's having a hard time at home, and they just needed a place to release, and I'm like, that's okay. We can talk about it if you want. If not, you can have that time, and we'll get back to it later. So I think that I know that's what kept me in, and also being structured as well too. I'm sure somebody else is going to say that, but they're having things organized. Sometimes you can have things not organized, and the person come in like, what people are drawn to greatness, or something that's organized and that's doing well. When I saw my high school band, when I was on the football practice field, I was like, man, that's dope. I think I might want to do that, and vice versa. So I think kids are drawn to having that family aspect, especially if they don't have it at home, and something that's doing something positive and doing something great that's going to keep them, what I'm saying, focusing on the straight and narrow.
All right, Doc G, we
You
get
guys,
the
you
kids
guys
in,
said
but we
everything.
keep them in. You say what?
You guys said everything.
Oh,
Yeah, I think what keeps them there is the relationship you build with them, the trust that you build with them, um, being consistent. Quan kind of spoke on that, when kids, when they see you one day and they don't see you the next week or whatever, they start to lose that trust that they have in you. So trying to be as consistent as possible so that they know your face, they see your face. Also continuing to challenge them and raise the bar, is a good thing too. Knowing that, for example, if you sang background for me this year, okay, this year you have a solo. Now let's see what you can do, keeping them challenged or not pushing the ones out too soon that aren't ready, but you might have a little lead part, right here. So that keeps them interested as well. It gives them a sense of responsibility to be a part of a whole is really important. Or if they're not doing anything, okay, you have the responsibility of picking up the uniforms, or you're the president or whatever, or you're the student director. Like giving them roles also helps with keeping them in, because it gives them that responsibility. So, but I feel like at the core of it is just the relationship that you build with them personally, and the trust that you build with them is important to keep them there. Musically, it's important too, but I think just the personal side really outweighs it.
so obviously you guys said all the great things. Let me ask you this: if you have a situation where you have a student who's like, they rock with you, but they don't rock with your vision of what you think the program should be. So just going back to the earlier example I gave, maybe they love marching band, and Chuck, you trying to make them go ahead and sit down and play this William Owens, and they like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to do that. I mean, you cool, but I'm good. I'd rather quit. How do you keep a student in like that?
So I've actually experienced that last year during the pandemic. I was focusing more on blending, balancing chorales and different things like that for a few days. And he was like, how long we gonna keep going over this? Like how long, bro? And I said, well, like, we're a team. And at the time, he was one of the students that actually had a middle school experience. All of the other saxophone players were beginners. So he was like, bro, like, come on, bro, like, I want to play something. I was like, and I asked him, I was like, do you have siblings? He was like, yes, I do. I said, are you the eldest? And he was like, yes. I said, so do you just leave your other brothers and sisters just to fend for themselves? He's like, nah, I take care of them. I said, well, take that same mentality with your saxophone section. And for a little bit, he was cool with it. But unfortunately, his attitude, he developed an ego where he was like, nah, I'm better than y'all. So unfortunately, he had to remove himself from the situation. But I've had other scenarios where kids did want to march all day, but then they saw the bigger picture in concert. And once they bought that, or ate the apple of concert, they was like, okay, I see your point, Mr. Mitchell. Like, I took them out of their environment where they saw students, and it was a percussionist. So we battle us like from a rudiment perspective with percussion, but I was teaching them how to read, and my percussion partner J. Robert taught them how to read. They were then out of his element. They were battling on written music, and he was able to compete with them. And he was like, "Okay, I see it now." That's when I want a musician instead of a bandhead. That's the difference.
Juan just said exactly what I was going to say. I always talk to my students about empowerment. I was like, I don't want you just to learn this song so you can play this song. I want you to be able to play anything that's put in front of you. I was like, that's empowerment. I told him, I was like, I remember I was in grad school and we were just playing all this music and stuff. And I remember sitting there and being like, you know what? I've been playing for a long time now. And I don't think haven't ran across a rhythm that I've never seen before, or range. I'm not seeing anything that I'm unable to play, whether on high or the low. And I just felt like, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm really appreciative to my band directors and to, my instructors, because I feel empowered. I feel like I have all the infinity stones, and so I try to preach that to my kids, like, right. Like, what I'm saying? That's a really good feeling. And I always show them this video. Have you seen the video of it's an older black man that's playing the tenor sax, but he's getting brain surgery at the same time? I don't know if you guys have seen that. So they had him play it to help him calm down, and relax and have his brain in a relaxed state. And I was just like, do you see how powerful like this is, and how this man is at the age that he is having this procedure going on, and he can just snap right to, something that he learned so long ago. I was like, this is a skill and a trade that people would love to have. Why wouldn't you want to learn as much as you can and try to be the best? Arturo talked about that in a conference I went to. He was like, we just didn't talk about jazz music. We talked about music. I wanted to learn what Dizzy learned. He wanted to learn what I could do. I wanted to learn this, so just kind of sharing things. And so, again, that, what Quan said just reminded me about that empowerment, like trying to be the best that you can at whatever craft that you're doing, and that's such a great feeling. And that's I don't know, that's how I hook kids in. Let's be the best at what we can be, and work together and grow and challenge each other, versus just being okay at one perspective of it. I want the whole buffet. I want Thanksgiving dinner. I want everything. I just don't want steak. Steak's great, but I want some potatoes and everything else with it. So, that's how I try to give it to my kids.
Chuck, you got a real big thing with food, man. I just wanted to put that out there.
Bro, I love to eat, man. And my retirement plan was to do. My wife's looking at me out the side of her eye right now. My retirement plan was to do, maybe band director versus food, and just travel and eat after I retire. But I don't know if that's gonna be good on the health. But it's relatable. We all like to eat, bro. We all like to eat. We have that crappy food in the cafeteria. My kids don't want to go to lunch because they're like, Miss Carter, ain't nothing in there for us. They ain't nothing in there for these streets, and it just kind of makes sense to them. So, y'all might be able to use that analogy as well too. But I call the empowerment the LeBron James effect. I was like, LeBron James knows what the other team is going to do before they do it. Why? Because he's a student of the game. And you put that with talent, somebody that's given the body and the mental aspect to process all this stuff at a young age, the LeBron James effect. You know what I'm saying? You get somebody everybody wants to be around because you're going to be better, And so, again, just empowerment.
All right. You probably ain't going on that food tour, but let me let me ask you guys this question. Um, and for some reason, I just always get these random thoughts. Do you think band directors fail because instead of trying to build them, they succumb to what the student wants? So if a student wants to crank it up all day, instead of saying, well, I don't want, I fear losing X amount of students doing this, so I'm just going to continue doing the thing they want to do to try to quote unquote meet them where they are. Do you think band directors or just directors in general fail because of that?
I'm gonna speak from the choral side of it or the vocal side of it. Um, I feel like it could be an either or situation, but speaking from my perspective, there is a way to still make something that is popular teachable. Um, at times, you can still, as long as you're approaching it using the techniques that we talked about, then it could still be valid in that state. Um, Most of them don't want to do it, so you got to kind of let them know that. But like we have to, and basically what I like to say is when you learn healthy technique, you'll be able to sing almost anything better if you have this foundation of technique and skill. Then it'll take you farther than just putting yourself in this one box. So I think if you continue to really focus on, you know, building this foundation so that you can do these things and being intentional about it, then I feel like you can kind of still sell it that way. There are students that I give standard repertoire to multiple languages, but then I might throw in a little pop song, um, just to challenge them in that way and give them something to do at the end of their voice lesson or whatever. They always want to do it, but I'll be like, okay, well, you have to do these other pieces first, but then you still have that. But the goal is to apply what you're learning in the harder repertoire, the one that you may not understand as good, and then apply it to the more popular things that you want to do in your spare time. So I feel like that's what really creates a really sound musician, a skilled musician.
I agree. I definitely agree. I had a professor one time say you got to make the warm up fun, or the technique studies like make it fun or make it like a game, you know. And I remember one year I I was asked in choir one year, and so we had a transition with our choral director, and I was like, oh my goodness, all right, let me see what I can do. And we did this little warm up that I played on the piano, and it was on the on our vowels A-I-O-U, and it was kind of fun and it was exciting, and they enjoyed it. And it got to the point that when we got to the concert, it was not on our schedule for the concert, but the kids loved it so much, and it helped us with the other things that we're doing. Our rep, they're like, hey, Miss Conner, we got to do it right. Like we do this every day, so we have to do it at the concert. So we did it at the concert, and so it was just kind of applying, those things, and having that transfer learning. But definitely, and I thought of a question, if I can ask Dr. Alfred. Do you get I think you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but like pressure from like admins or maybe your chair, like to I guess do certain things. I know you mentioned a little bit earlier about that, but is that a reoccurring thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Also being well, not even one of the youngest faculty member in my department, sometimes it's hard to relate to older faculty members because they've been there for years and they've done it one way. Um, but thankfully, over time, with me kind of standing strong, but still being able to do both in a sense, like being able to satisfy both sides, I haven't faced as much conflict with it. But yeah, that is an issue. Like um, when you have purists around you, people that just feel like things are done one way, and you won't be able to sing opera unless you just do opera, or and I'm a firm believer of having to surrender to the process of the genre to really get the technique down. I'm not saying that's not true, but I may have had maybe one or two people in the past 6 years that I've been there that just want to do opera. Like the majority of my students want to do it all. And to really prepare them for their careers, we have to make sure that we build the foundation with the classical repertoire and the skill and technique, but we also begin to branch out more to really feed into what they want to do outside of school. Because you got to be realistic with the situation as well. So yeah, there is pushback, but you just have to be realistic with what 2022 is.
All right, let's welcome this ghost to the panel, in which I haven't seen in quite some time. So
Hey, we getting ready for LGPE in DeKalb County over here. That's why you ain't seen him.
man, I ain't seen him in more than a month, more than about a month and a half, 2 months. He ain't been on an episode of secondary session since the second episode. Yeah. Anyway, what's going on, bro?
Hey, that's why I'm popping in now, man.
I taught you better than that when you were online. I just want to
you are absolutely right. I got to get it back. Hey, man, so much has been said that I completely agree with. From that you guys discussed today. With this latest thing, how do we keep the kids in? I just wanted to echo Dr. G. When I feel like it depends on repertoire, man. Something actually I picked up while being in Georgia is listening to pieces, to really kind of like identify what I think my ensemble can be like successful with, where I can push them, and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, I've definitely had the kids that I want to crank up. And especially, because I'm at a new school, it's a different style than what they were used to and all that kind of stuff. So now they own it. Like they like, hey, I get a question every day, Miss Davis, can I get the sousaphone? Can I go get that march baritone? Like, I'm like, bruh, no. Like we got some things to do. But I mean, on another hand, I do want you to be, successful at that too. I think to get buy-in, especially on like the concert side, you just got to find the right concert piece. I'll never forget, man. I heard E.E. Smith High School in North Carolina. They played Sevens by that's Samuel Hazel. They put that mug on the field. Like I was like, wait a minute, that is a symphonic band song. Like, and they marched it like, and that mug sounded great. And so I played it for some kids. I was like, yo, this is a idea of the different things that you can do with concert literature. And like, the kids heard it, they was like, this sound, it's like jazzy. I was like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's a bunch of different things you can do, man. You guys talked about, how do you get I think Quan, that was you was talking about, you got like a saxophonist, he's like better than everybody else. Like, what do you do with that kid? Man, just being here in Georgia, man. I've seen the effects of having kids in like all district or all state or solo and ensemble, like pushing them toward those things. So like my better students, I'm definitely aiming them at that type of stuff because I'm like, okay, as an ensemble, your needs might not get met. You know what I mean? You might be the LeBron James of the ensemble. So how do I keep that kid going forward? Hey, bro, you're not the best in the state, guarantee you. Matter of fact, let's find out. Here's the A2. Here's what I need you to study. Here's the scales. Here's all this. Let's go for it. And I had some kids get like, they were like successful with it. Like I was like, there you go. So now you're entering a realm of higher players, which is dope. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I want. What else was something, man? It was a lot of stuff, man. I was trying to chat and comment as much as I could. But I mean those were definitely things that stuck out for me. This is my first in 9 years. This would be my first like adjudicated festival appearance. So yes, excuse me, brother Luke. I am, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm trying to get not just that though, but man, on some personal type. You know, I'm getting back in the health kit. COVID seen a lot of weight gained. Yeah, we ain't got time for that. So
No, I got you.
I'll
I got
be
you.
yeah, I be checking into the show, man. I be dying on like a treadmill or something. I be like, yeah, it ain't cool to be sweaty and talking, and I can't have my
Yeah,
camera.
I look, man, you good. But I do
Yeah.
want to say this, man.
What's up?
You know, knowing you and knowing your history of education, man, I am really glad that you were able to get to Georgia and you're getting a different experience of music education, man, because I think that's gonna, I mean, I don't even think, I know it's gonna make you a stronger educator and it's gonna make you more versatile too. You know, when you were kind of stuck in, or not, I don't want to say stuck, but when you were in a position where one thing was okay and there was no more requirements of you other than that one thing, then, you know, that's all that you experience. But now that you're in a place where, you know, they're requiring more of you, it's I like to hear the fact that you are actually starting to do a lot more research and become a little bit more open to different things. So I'm happy for you that you are going through those experiences, man.
Yes, sir. It's a beast, man, but I'm with it, man. Like I definitely, say this was like a definite bonus, like to moving here. Because it is way more positive in a bunch of different scenarios, like in a bunch of different ways. I mean, it come with its trash too. Don't get me wrong. It ain't perfect, but um, I could say there's been like a resurgence. You know what I mean? Some reflections on things that like even I did in high school. And I was talking to kids about. Matter of fact, that's what the last thing, man. Chuck, I'm definitely still in that Infinity Stone gauntlet type scenario. Yeah, you definitely gonna hear that ringing in my bedroom. I'm gonna come up with something cool for that because that's dope, man. And it's true. And matter of fact, Dr. G said that too. Just being well versed at everything, man. Don't be so one sided. I don't think I don't think kids nowadays like to be like in a box like that. Like you don't really see that no more. Um, but something I know true, man. Kids don't like to be bad at things. Like they don't. I'm starting. I say this a lot. Like I'd be like, you got to be okay with delayed gratification. Well, I know we all say that and everything, but it's really true. But definitely empowering kids to see like that bigger picture. Like, look, yes, okay, I know you want to crank up. I know, but you got to be able to read this part. Think about how much more cranking we can do. You can read this music. Like, I don't have to break your part down or his part down. Like, you can do it. Bro, what? We can take the book from 15, 20, 30, 40. Like, you can do. You think, man, these bands that y'all looking up to, the Southerns, the Jacksons, the Fender, all of them, bro, they are reading. Y'all know this is crazy. Y'all know Jackson went like digital with their music. They put it in like a Google Classroom, right? So, so in an effort to make, well, of course they did it to go like paperless or whatever, but this was about efficiency. The trombone section decided we're not learning music fast enough. So they was like, you know what? We're not practicing with stands anymore. They had people holding the horn with one, they like this, and they holding a phone to read the music and still play. Cause they was like, yeah, you're gonna get tired of holding the horn with one hand. You're gonna learn that music. Like I was like, yo, that's wild. But I'm with it. And they did. And they were able to pump out that much more music. So, I'm definitely looking at how to push the envelope, if that makes sense. That's why I like this show. So
right.
shout out to you, Mr. Luke. Quan be down there dropping gems, bro. I'd be like, boy, I need to be more like Quan.
Be better, bro. Be better.
Hey, man, I'm working. But yeah, I just wanted to jump in this mug, see everybody and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna make it to one of the Mondays, John. I'm on the way. I promise.
All right, bro. All right. All right, man. Appreciate you stopping through, man.
Yeah, dude.
Appreciate the support. You already know it. I'll see you Monday.
Yeah, right, there you go.
All right, bro. All right. Our neighborhood resident affiliate there, brother
There you
Justin.
go. There you go.
You know he was coming, man.
Big brother, what's up?
Man. I am tired just getting back in from the parade, man. Y'all hear me?
You know he was coming.
Yeah.
Got a little echo.
Turn the YouTube off. Turn the YouTube off.
Y'all hear me? Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, you hear me? Is it better?
Yeah, we good. We good.
There we go. Gotcha. Yeah, man. I just came from the damn parade, man. This show. I wanted to touch on something though. The last topic, y'all, was like how to keep band students interested. I think I might do a whole YouTube video on this topic because I feel like band directors sometimes get to a point to whereas they forget how to learn, or so they forget that they can know it all. You know what I'm saying? And like old tactics do not work in these new times. You know what I'm saying? Never became a band director in my life, but I damn sure can tell you how to gather some kids. You know what I'm saying? I just put a bird in the other day, say I want to do my own All-Star band. You should see how many damn kids interested in it. You know what I'm saying? So, which is probably stuff you already know. I'm saying again. But I'm gonna say the first thing, being consistent. You have to be consistent. I don't care if like you don't feel like coming to work today. Kids can pick up on when you don't feel like being at work, and when you tell them something one day and you let it slide the next day. You know what I'm saying? I was that naive kid. You have to be consistent. Another thing, sometimes more than a lot, after the work is done, let them do what they want to do. People always say like, you run the band. We get it, but you don't have no kids. You don't have a band. I don't care what it is. I'm talking about sometimes like our band director hated when Mr. Rollins, my band director, he hated when we hung over. Now I know when you learn about it as you get older, hanging over not a thing. But it's sometimes if all the music right, he'll just let us get a wild out session at the end of practice about 20 minutes. After all your lips gone, but you go wild out. So I gotta find some lips to blow these songs all crazy. Baritones coming in front of the band room, tubas standing on the chairs now, just having fun, keeping the environment lit. The work done. So why not let them do what they want to do sometimes? Even if they won't go a battle of the bands, find a way to get them there. You know what I'm saying? I just think adults sometimes just forget what it's like to be a kid. They have too many things keeping them occupied, not social media, all kind of stuff. So just let them do what they want to do sometime. You know what I'm saying? Even if playing the music they want to play, you want to play in a storm, let them play NBA Youngboy. For every one that you get, give them one of their own. You know what I'm saying? Now the book become big. So that's one of the things, man. It's a lot going on about it, but that was a topic that I seen, and I was like, I know I can go on and on about how to keep kids interested, even how to recruit for a band. You tell your band or your section leaders you want to be a section leader. Eric, you want to be a section leader eventually. You want to be a section leader, it's your duty to bring one person to the band next year. Just one. And now you're responsible for that one person. You know what I'm saying? That one person act up, we're accountable for each other. That's my band already did. Rose Rock, go. You know what I'm saying? So small little things that can make a band get big.
So first off, I know let me go ahead and say this. I know Quan, you got a roll, bro. So I mean, if you got to go ahead and tip out, it's all good. If you got an extra couple of minutes, that's all good too. Whatever you feel you got to do. So first, Justin, I'm going to say, Mr. Rollins is definitely a legend. I mean, the things that he has done, the things that he has done in the city is just amazing with that program. Period. But I don't disagree with you. There are things that I agree with, but there are things I don't agree with too. The one thing I do agree with is definitely let those kids have fun. My band director, Mr. Thorne, he would allow those things, right? Like there would be times when we would just be cranking up in the band room and he would turn the lights off and we just go to town and just have a great time, And I remember those things. Those things stick with me. However, here's the flip side to that. The flip side to that is even within that fun time, he would always still say you need to pay attention to details. Yeah, we would hang over a couple times and blah, blah, blah. But he would still say, hey, all right, now you know what the expectation is. I'm going to let you have fun, right? Because one of the things that I tell my students nowadays, don't practice bad habits because they become normal habits. And that's the problem. The problem is I don't mind if, like you said, if we play In the Stone, all right, fine. You can crank up a Rap Daddy later. But I still want you to have the same musical clarity and context even when you're playing that Rap Daddy. And that's the problem, because if they practice the wrong way, they're gonna do it the wrong way and the stuff that I expect for them to do. So I think that I like I said, I agree with you to some degree. There has to be, some give and take within that.
I just want to just chime in one, but I think when you give kids certain autonomy, like within reason, that's how your band grows. So I think we all are saying the same thing. Prime example, when it comes to the Rap Daddies, my kids can bring me, be like, "Hey, Mr. Mitchell, we want to play this. I'll write it." Or even when it comes to concert season, I may pick 6 pieces that say, "Hey, this is on your level. Let's listen to them all." And we have listening parties. And as a band, they legitimately pick 3 of the pieces. And we literally go through, like, "You want this piece? Okay, why you need a fast, slow, fast piece? Okay, I got 6 pieces. Y'all pick." And they literally vote, be like, "Nah, I want this piece. Okay, I want that piece." Because if we're gonna be honest, if it's something that they want to play, they're gonna learn it. But if it's something they don't want to play, it's gonna be a drag, and you're gonna be pissed off in practice. No matter if you analyze and score the piece with your colors and your you know what I'm saying, all of that other technical stuff, you're not gonna get the best output for the kids. So if the kids feel like that this is our band and you're simply a facilitator, that's like your culture is already set. Like you said, Justin, Mr. Rollins, like I was showing the whole Gritty City today. I know good and well Mr. Rollins didn't know I slept in 8 days. I can go for 8 weeks. I know he didn't know that song. Somebody brought it to him.
He'll say something like "Yo, mama breast thing smell like poo," like something like that.
Yeah.
The whole band start laughing, but guess what?
But you know it though.
"Yo, mama breast thing smell like poo." I just learned the whole damn rhythm and phrase, and I want to sing with that mother. Like, yeah. I just feel like, bro, I say that a day. As I get older, still young, I think I want to go back to school and get a music degree. You know what I'm saying? I got a degree already. Because I want to be a band director eventually. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I want to do with it, but I just want to see, like, I see successful band directors, and I see, like I said, I see young band directors, but I see these old band directors like Rollins still kicking butt. You know what I'm saying? They have a successful program. So I want to know, like, what is he doing? Well, besides, he's a separate. What is people like him doing that's like, that these younger cats can't do? You know what I'm saying? I get it. The kids are different, because I was one of these young. I was a problem when I was a bully. Anything you name bad, we did it. I did it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I know one thing. Let me throw out and say, you got to munch in the middle, in the hole. What? Well, I'm munching that, man. I'm doing everything I got to keep my sexually the spot. So I don't know, but I think sometimes you need to fill band directors in, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like small bands. It's something about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you had a 5A school with 30 kids in your band. That don't even make no logical sense to me. Like, you can't get 50 or 60. Like, I know things happen, but I just know if I was the band director, I know how is ways to get kids interested in the band. The band travels with the football team. Let's get that. You get to go to all the games for free. Like, band eat, you know what I'm saying? Go to the corral. That's like it's all kind of stuff you can do. So that's I don't know. I don't mean a down band directors who just like, I just say, because it's some stuff that I might not know that's going on. Principals could be tripping, administration could be tripping, but I'm tired of people using that as an excuse all the time too. You know what I'm saying? Because I go talk to the principal and they be a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? It's coming from cameraman, this smash time, nobody spectacular. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely understand. Like, y'all don't be doing a good job, and then like when the band said people fought the kids, when it ain't the kids' fault, these kids showed up. It's your job to teach, and if you need help, say that. You know what I'm saying? I think band directors get too prideful to ask for help. I got Rawlins, Chalupa, and St. Aug in the city. You know what I'm saying? Or I got Dallas, I got Skyline over there. You know what I'm saying? Or like Townview. I can't ask them for no help, no assistance at all. Even if they give me a little BS, I'm gonna take something. So that's just my small 2 cents. I know somebody ain't gonna like, you can clip whatever I said too. I don't care, because I just stand up. Like, it's just be bull crap, bro. Like, I don't know.
No,
yeah.
and I think, Chuck, you about to say something, but let me
Sure, bro.
say a couple of things real quick. First of all, Justin, I'm actually gonna say this. I challenge you to go get that degree. I actually want you to go get the degree. And it's not even on some, "So I just want you to see what it's going to be." No, it's more or less because I see the passion that you have for it, and I actually want to see what you would actually bring to the table. I think that you have a lot to offer. So I would definitely want you to go get that degree. So, in the next 4-5 years, I actually want to see you, graduating with a degree. So that's the first thing. I think, but just going on the questions that you asked there, I think with Mr. Rollins, I think there's two things to that coin. Mr. Rollins has years and years and years of a culture that is already well ingrained. There's an expectation when you walk into the band room, right? That's just like Dean Hill. If you know anything about Townview High School here in Dallas, Dean Hill is the godfather of Dallas when it comes to band. Like that, it's just like Mr. Thornton. Ronald Thornton, you don't walk into his band room doing whatever you want to do. You knew what the expectation was. And there were times when Mr. Thornton was where we felt he was connected, you know. But regardless, that was Mr. Thornton. That's the same way with Mr. Rollins. That's the same way with Dean Hill. I mean, it's just the lineage of respect that when walking into that band room. So I definitely see it from that perspective. That's why he's able to keep kids. And I think that also, he is a little bit more connected because he's from the culture. I think that's another aspect of it that a lot of people miss. A lot of kids respect a lot of directors that's from the culture. If they know that you didn't grinded it out, if they see that especially if you go into the trap, if they see you got a trap background, they're gonna respect you a lot more because they know that you come from a culture that they have some kind of connection to. If you come in there and you came from a 2-parent household in the nicest neighborhoods, and they gonna already smell you as soon as you walk through the door, and they gonna eat you alive. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the other half of it too. He's part of the culture, so he understands. But I think that's why a lot of band directors, especially in Louisiana and the inner cities, are really successful. What y'all call him? Chalupa at Edna Carr.
Mm-hmm.
He's from the city. You know what I'm saying? So he was able to come back and he was able to pour into the same program because he came from Edna Carr, didn't he?
Yeah, but and the call it wasn't what it's now.
It
The
was
call,
better
yeah,
than that.
Right. It
yeah.
was a different program, but he came from there. So he's able to walk into that building and the kids are gonna respect him because he's a product. He could say, "Hey, that's me right there." You know what I'm saying? I took that band picture. That's me. So I know what you're going through. I don't walk through this neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And that is where, especially, I agree that there always needs to be an alumni presence within any program because those kids are going to be able to relate. So I think that's another part of the aspect of where those kids are able to, or that director is able to help grow that program. When you have somebody who's a part of that culture and who's a part of that background, I think that's definitely a necessary thing when growing a program. So that's just my thoughts, and my 2 cents. I know Chuck, you had something to say.
I was just gonna say, I had a chance to meet Mr. Rollins years ago at Midwest. Last time I attended in person, and not knowing him, but the first thing I said when I met him, I was like, man, you are saving lives. That is why he is still teaching today. He is saving lives. And when you've been through, because I remember in the Gritty City, they talked about losing a student. I don't know if it was specifically with that program or maybe another one, but if you've ever right. So if you've ever been through that as a director, it just, I mean, I'm just saying, it just is, it's something you never want to experience, but when you have to go through it, it reminds you of what you're there for, in the bigger picture of things. And that's why you see these directors 20, 30 years, sometimes plus in, because they understand their impact. They understand their impact and what they're doing. And the next thing, to your point, like I think we have a misconception in our culture that discipline or having a standard is like boring. I was always told that like the first sign of a good band is discipline. And you can tell a good band from walking into the band room or from their attire or how they carry themselves. Not necessarily how their instrument look, because sometimes you might get a beat up horn, right? Sometimes they play better than the new horn. But in terms of like taking care of it, we all know what it is not to have something and to take care of it when we get something. Them new school shoes that we get in the summer and we wear them around the house because that's our only new pair of shoes. We waiting for the first day of school. We know what that is, and so I do agree with you. You gotta give a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta dangle the carrot per se. But you still have to have those standards and expectations. One of my band directors say it all the time, not in my band. There's certain things that we just won't ever do because that is, not the expectation and the standard. Yes, you can have fun, but again, I said it earlier, you give candy all the time, that's all they're gonna want. If you ain't never had, that Thanksgiving dinner that grandma cooked that she don't need a recipe.
He go with his food again.
Come on, man. That's my go-to. If you ain't never had that, then you don't know what it is. And when you have it, you're like, oh, this is good. This isn't that bad. I hated fish when I was a little kid, but as my palate changed, as I grew up, or our ear changes, right? Then we are able to appreciate, other things. And so you do have to have that, that give or take, but there always has to be that expectation and that standard. One thing I knew about Norfolk was going to look a certain way, they were going to sound a certain way, but they had that expectation and it looked fun and exciting. As much as folks would, that weren't familiar with Listen to Behold, you had to respect it. You had to respect it because you knew you were seeing
right.
folks. You knew you were seeing folks with a standard, and that it was more than what. It's kind of like the Batman effect. The symbol is more than what we think it is. You're turning yourself into an idea, into a concept, into a belief. And we see that with a lot of programs. Unfortunately, some programs don't have that identity. They're too busy chasing somebody else or doing something like somebody else versus just being their own. Jackson State used to be a marching jazz band, in the 60s and 70s, man. They're playing all the swing tunes, and of course Southern, the big brass band. That's indicative to the culture. You know what I'm saying? And that's great. So again, I just say with Mr. Rollins and band directors that have been in for a long time, they understand what their impact is, and they're saving these kids and building them into young men and young women. I mean, besides having to deal with burying a student, but what about going to their wedding? I have 2 former section leaders that are married. A trombone section leader and a piccolo section leader. I got 2 former drum majors that are married and have a kid. Like seeing those things is like, wow, like it's a surreal experience. And so, I challenge you as well too, man. Go back to school, man, and get that degree and get your own band. My band director used to say that. You want to do that? Get your own band. But get it because it will really. Yeah, I mean, there's certain jobs you would never understand what it takes to do it unless you're in that driver's seat. Y'all seen ice road truckers? I couldn't imagine doing that job. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying that sometimes, like I know I can go hard, but at the same time, I always sit back. Like I said, I don't know what that person is going through. Outside looking in is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I know it's problems that band directors deal with, that some stuff they can't control. You know what I'm saying? But it be some stuff that I just know I can see. Like you have 50 kids here marching on different feet. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they're marching on different wrong foot. Like you can't correct that. You know what I'm saying? Like small things. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't know, I feel you, man. But yeah.
You got some admins. I'll just say this and I'm gonna shut up, I promise. You got some admins that I'll tell you, my first year as a band director, I was in my interview with the athletic director, the superintendent, 3 principals, and a couple teachers. It was a whole room full of folks. And the athletic director asked me, am I going to be like school A, which is a black school, or school B, which is a white school? They asked that question in that interview. And you know what I said? I said, neither. We're going to be like us. And that was the only thing I could say. But at that time, without, you know what I'm saying, falling into that trap, it was definitely a loaded question. And you'll have some admin say, hey, I don't want you to look like that school down the street. We don't want to hear that. We want to hear this. So what are you going to do as a band director that you need a job and you might got a family and you got to work, you know? And so that can put sometimes in a difficult situation, you know? And so environment is key and support as well too. Some men be like, hey, do your thing. You the band director, I'm black. And that's a blessing. But it's not like that everywhere. And a lot of times we judge these programs very unfairly, and we don't know. Just like Dr. G was saying, she gets pressure from her admins to sing certain songs. What if your admin comes to you and say, I want you to play this. I want to hear Shark Baby. I want to hear that on Friday and it's Wednesday. What you gonna do? I want to hear. I love Britney Spears. I want to hear Britney Spears. Play some Britney. Like that's stuff that people go through, you know.
I'm gonna say this before I go real quick. I know that Mr. Rollins was a real one. When I met him, he had 2 slugs at the top. I say he a real one. That's first of all. That's number one. And he wore Coogee. So that lets you know. That's number one. But number 2, those things, hey, whatever support you need, Justin, whenever you make that decision to go back to school, I'm here to support you in all of your endeavors. That's as well. Thanks. But no problem, Doc. But also, there are school districts, specifically in Texas. I want you to know that principals control the style of your band.
Absolutely.
Like, so
we want you out there like Texas. Or Texas.
Like I'm just keeping it with buck with you. Sometimes
100%.
As a director, even though that's your band and your name falls on it, if he says I want a core style band, like he has the right and autonomy to say, you know what, I don't want those type of uniforms. I want them to more look like them. Yep. And so like
not even principals, fine arts directors.
That too, you see what I'm saying? And like that's why this show is so prolific, because we talk about the subliminal racism, we talk about the politics, and honestly, that's why we speak about drum corps, is because some interviews we won't even get until you put drum corps on it. And then, like prime example, this is not the same time frame where Prof. Thornton, when he took over Willow Ridge, which was an all core school, but he got cheated out of specific UIL aspect until he started implementing those aspects too. Like that's why we praise his name, peace be unto him, so much, because he's a GOAT, because he's the only one in Texas, real talk, that did both and did both successfully for years until he passed away. So I got to roll out. It's about 10 o'clock. So, but y'all have a blessed night, and I'll chop it up with y'all later.
All right, brother.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's tough. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a tough job, man. Like sometimes I know y'all talk about it as directors. Some of y'all see some stuff that just like it's like, no, that is not how that's supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. Outside looking in, it's like I said, it's better. But I do see some stuff like I just would like to try it out to see like, what could I be successful at least? You know what I'm saying? So I could walk in the same shoes I'm talking in. But I tell you one thing. Some of the stuff that I just see would not happen at all. I don't know, man, but I feel y'all, Doc.
Okay. Well, like I said, man, I challenge you to do it. You know, like I said, we will be in constant support of you. Whatever decision that you make, we're gonna stand behind you. You know, and definitely whatever you need or any questions you have, you know, you can always hit one of us up. You know, Quan, or I know you probably gonna hit up Rick like 122 times. Whoever, you know, but we definitely will support you and your success in that, man. As a matter of fact, man, Justin, I want you to do something when you get a chance, man. Go to the store our merch store and pick out a shirt that you want. I'll get it for you. Send it to you, bro. How about that? So
Man,
I'll do
appreciate
that
it,
for you,
man.
man.
Shit, I support. Is that
Yeah.
the link that y'all be posting? Is that the other link?
Yeah.
All
That's the
right,
one
man.
that's scrolling down at the bottom. But yeah, that's the other link. So yeah, just go through the store, pick out a shirt you want, and hit me up on the gram and tell me what you want, and then I'll send you one, man.
That's
There
a
you
bet,
go,
man.
man.
That's a bet. All right, y'all. Man, I'm
100%.
about to head. I got some more parades. I know y'all need to talk about some of this. Watch some of these Mardi Gras videos and talk about some of this action that's going on in the city.
Hey,
I know.
bro, right quick.
We started with you though. We started with your with your videos. You just weren't in here, but we started with your videos first. So, but yeah, you keeping us engaged in what's going on, because ain't nobody really. I ain't seen no other videos but yours. So you right in the middle of the action. So yeah, you are much appreciated.
Bro, I gotta tell you, Justin, I gotta tell you before you get off. As directors, we have to discipline ourselves as well too, in terms of like what we listen to in preparation for our different things. Like I know I got pre-festival coming up on Friday, but I know it's Mardi Gras season, and one of my favorite band songs is "Never Satisfied," and it was a video with Southern playing up.
Southern came through playing that.
Oh,
yeah,
I was listening to that, and I had to stop. And I said, no, I gotta listen to my festival music on the way to work. I gotta keep it going. And so I get it. We go through it as well too, but I definitely been kind of like, okay, I gotta catch up to these videos, but we have to discipline ourselves as well too, and not get into some of our other vices. I love watching sports. I gotta turn it off and get more sports study. If I'm not prepared, my kids are not going to be prepared. So we go through it too, It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We got different personalities, but we have to maintain discipline in order to achieve what we want to achieve.
Yeah, man, that's kind of tough. I was telling myself I wanted to experience CIAA weekend, man, but I just realized it's always the time of Mardi Gras. I probably won't ever get a chance to see what that's like because I'm not missing Mardi Gras. Sorry, but yeah, it's like I don't know, but I wish I could come down one year, man. Like this year, I gotta go. It's good to see the city back. Like I ain't see it's almost. I stopped coming to like 23 high school bands just in our city alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just all over the place. Like, granted, I know it's a bunch of stuff that notes that you might not agree with, but I'm just happy to see the passion back. You know what I'm saying? And like numbers are bad, man. So y'all, I'm gonna keep y'all these videos. I'm about to upload some videos soon we get off here. And yeah, man, I'm gonna holler at y'all. Until next time, man. Holler, man.
All right, bro. Appreciate the support, man. See you next time. All right. Well, that was it. It's a wrap, man. Dr. G, you made it. Ain't no sweat on your brow. Yeah, man. It wasn't too tough, man. So let me go ahead and let's go ahead and get ready to wrap. I know that Chuck, you probably got school tomorrow. I know I don't, so I'm thanking God for that. I just real talk. I don't have school because the roads are icy and stuff like that. But I will say that if you're in the DFW area, please be safe. I watched a video today on 635 where it was like 3 accidents, and that's literally the route that I travel to go to work. So I actually thank God that I turned around. I was headed to work and I saw the drizzle, and then the water that was falling on my windshield started icing up. And I got on 635 and something told me, says, hey, just turn around, just go home. And so I turned around and I went home, and I saw the video maybe about a couple hours later, 635, it was 3 accidents on there. So, I will say if you're in the DFW area, please be safe. I know I talked to Maya earlier. She is in the DFW area. And so I told her she need to get her butt somewhere and sit down somewhere. But I do hope that everybody is safe out there. I don't got to go to work, but I still pray for everyone's safety, man. All right, let's get ready to get out of here. Let me do this. Before we go, please make sure that you stop by the merch store and pick up your merch if you haven't done so already. If you haven't checked it out, let me go ahead and pop it on the screen real quick, just in case you haven't been able to check it out. Here we go. We have all of our merch right here on the screen. You can go ahead and pick up everything that you need. We got the No Rap Daddies. We got your tunes. We got Just Rue It. Hey, if you like to wear, these little, what are these things called? Tank tops. I thought they were called wife beaters, but whatever. Or my ladies, if you want to wear the crop top, you got everything. all your needs. So just go ahead and check it out. We have the link scrolling down at the bottom. Remember, in March, we're going to do 15% off on all purchases. That is for my birthday. So please make sure you go ahead and check us out. If you need the link, I'll put the link inside of the chat. All right, let's go ahead and get ready to get out of here. Let's start with Chuck. Any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
Just a great show. Thanks for allowing me to come on, man. I know I ramble a little bit, but I'm just, we're just really passionate about this, and I'm glad that people could tap in, and I get excited to see, Justin tap in as well too, because I remember kind of being in that space and wanting to, just being inspired to be a band director, and I really hope that he pushes forward to it. I used to draw band uniforms on my notebook in English class when I should have been paying attention, but I just knew that was my destiny and my passion, and I see that. So it's a really good space, and good to get Dr. G on here and hear from the choral perspective as well too, because we're one and the same. I tell my students, I was like, we're emulating voices. With our instruments, we're emulating voices. So we have to, be able to tap into that space as well. So I was talking about the head voice with my kids today, and how that's important for us. And so again, it's good to see different folks on and meet different folks, and hopefully we can all be in the same space in person one day. Maybe I'll do a Talk That Talk convention, cookout. Cookout.
It's coming, man. It's coming. Just keep it tuned, man. I got a lot of things on the brain. It's coming.
Let's do it.
All right, Dr. G, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
Nothing much. Just thank you guys for having me. Got the cobwebs out, started flowing toward the middle. Felt good. It always feels good to be in the room with other musicians and other music educators, and to hear our similarities, our differences, all of these things. So thank y'all for having me. And for any students that are watching, just keep the love for music. I know sometimes we lose that because we get so technical all the time, but never forget what brought you to the craft. And that was your heart and your passion for it. So that's what I want to leave with. But thank you guys for having me. Hope to come back one of these old days.
You are more than welcome back anytime. Whenever you want to hop on, just hit me up and say, hey, I'm trying to come on this week. What you got? Can I come in? Can I come in? You are more than welcome. As soon as you come on here, and as long as you make it from beginning to end, you are considered family. So you are more than welcome.
I started closing a little bit early. I had to get up and walk it out.
I understand. We be on here for a while. You got to be able to tough it out, But no, I appreciate you coming through, and your perspective is definitely needed. So anytime you want to come back, you're more than welcome. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you guys go and check out all of the merch. Also, please make sure you click like on the way out. Finally, if you saw Crystal Williams in here, she is family. We got something coming up with her very soon, Diary of a Lady Band Director. So keep it locked here, right here on the Passion Is Network. We're going to give you all of your needs. Other than that, man, I appreciate everybody for joining us. We will see you guys next week. Peace.
They love it when I turn up the bass. They love it when I turn up the bass.